Hello, and welcome to the Serie podcast, the most demanded podcast. जैसे ये हम अगर हम Netflix है ना तो ये हमारा माइंड हंटर है because we do a few episodes and then everybody is like अरे Serie panel कहाँ है Serie panel कहाँ है तो here's the Serie panel in all its glory and थोड़ा टाइम लगा दोस्तों सॉरी because काफी लोगों से कोऑर्डिनेट करना पड़ा बट आई विल स्टार्ट विद सिद्धार्थ ही सिंस उसका डेब्यू है अपने पॉडकास्ट पे सिद्धार्थ how does it feel to have like one of the greatest moments of your life, man, to be on Menace and the Monk?
It's amazing. Like, I never knew there were so many Serie A fans to begin with. So we had a
Yeah.
little tournament where I met a lot of Juventus fans there, Milan fans. I think Chintan was also there. So we had a little mini Calcio tournament a couple of years back. So that was insane to see so many fans because all around there are Premier League fans. You
Yeah.
very rarely find Italian league fans, and that also like core Italian league fans who followed the clubs for years. So that was interesting to me. And being on the
Chintan,
podcast is a pleasure.
अरे नहीं यार मजाक कर रहे हैं. By the way, boys, let me just tell you. So we have the AC Milan fan as well, but वो पता नहीं he's decided to drop off. तो वो भी आ जाएगा. DJ bro, how are you, man? Long time.
All good, boys. All good. So glad to finally be back here. Celebrate all things that are Juventus and Serie. Always a pleasure. And to see you guys interact with you all. It's been a while, yeah. And I'm so sorry for the absence also. Just been tied up with a couple of things. But now I'm back fully in the swing of things. More than happy to exchange information. And actually, I think I need you guys to give me some inputs because I've really been MIA, and I've actually also missed a few games along the way. Missed some of the Champions League action as well. So
Oh
really
damn.
finding my groove again.
मेरे को एक बात बता डीजे तू इतना ट्रेन क्यों कर रहा है किसको मारना है तेरे को लाइक आई एम सीइंग यू बॉक्स दीस डेज ऑन सोशल मीडिया किसके साथ तेरे को छत्तीस का आंकड़ा है भाई बिकॉज द ट्रेनिंग लुक्स इनसेन ब्रो
Oh, it does, yeah. Manas, yeah, you don't understand. Yeah, I was getting married, no, so I was just training in self-defense. That's all it was.
चलो. मैं
So
प्राइवेट चैट में पूछने ही वाला था लेकिन सिंस डीजे हिमसेल्फ हैज सेड इट तो भाई चैट डीजे हैज जस्ट गॉट मैरिड तो सबसे पहले डीजे ओपी कांग्रेचुलेशंस डीजे हो जाए चैट में यार डीजे हिमसेल्फ आई वाज गोना आस्क इफ इट्स ओके टू डिस्क्लोज बट ही हिमसेल्फ हैज सेड इट so thank you so much
yeah, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
बट डीजे परम सिद्धार्थ योगेश एवरीवन's here चिंतन is going to join us there did off the bat the biggest talking point all Pogba okay 4 साल का बैन मिल गया तो आपके ख्याल क्या है हाउ बिग अ ब्लो इज इट फॉर सेरिया इज इट अ बिग ब्लो फॉर सेरिया क्या बोलना है मतलब लेट्स स्टार्ट विद यू
मानस
योगेश
तेरी आवाज माइक से नहीं आ रही है
माइक से आ रही है माइक से आ रही है आई थिंक
अब आ रही है
हाँ सो पॉल पॉगबा के बारे में क्या किसी को कुछ बोलना है मतलब
ओह माय गॉड
Yeah,
Guys,
like
let
as a
me, I
Motta
mean,
fan, Paul Pogba के बारे में बोलना चाहूँगा. He's a very great. He was a very great player when he was at Juventus. I didn't follow his track जब वो Manchester United में था. But while
हाँ
at Juventus, he was pretty great. And seeing this news, I hope it's a mistake. It's something like उसने जानबूझ के नहीं किया गलती से कुछ हो गया होगा. But it's very sad to see like one of the best players of the generation going down this route and having such an end. So it's quite depressing. Yeah.
guys, honestly, I mean, जब से वो यूवेंटस की उसकी पहली स्टिंट जो थी उसके बाद I think when he moved to United, he lost his way a little bit, and he's not been the same player. Once he came back, पहले तो वो उसने कुछ he's hardly played. Injuries ज़्यादातर रहे हैं, and this scandal, I think I agree with Yogesh. शायद कुछ गलती है, and he's also obviously he's vehemently denied it. तो अपील तो होगी वैसे भी एंड उसके बाद भी आई डोंट थिंक उसका करियर ज्यादा अभी सीरिया में टिकेगा वैसे भी इवन इफ ही कम्स क्लीन आई थिंक हिज बेस्ट रूट अगर वो इवन इफ ही कम्स क्लीन इज गो टू सऊदी एंड ट्राई एंड किक स्टार्ट हिज करियर अगेन आई थिंक यूरोप में उसका करियर फिलहाल एकदम खत्म हो गया है.
I guess sometimes it is the case about you things getting too big for you. थोड़ा अपने आप को कुछ समझने लगा था. I guess when he went to United, won the World Cup, So I guess his different hairstyles every game. Sometimes these things play in your head. No doubt you're a talented player, yeah, but I sometimes think जो रोबिनो के साथ भी हुआ था, so skillful, so talented, but lost his way. So I hope the allegations false है. Let's hope, but career तो खत्म हो गया.
I think
But
also चिंतन बहुत injury prone है यार उसका. I mean, also अभी now 28 की उम्र में what recovery also. He's lost that little yard in his step. So even the scandal apart, उसका injury problem भी इतना ज़्यादा है that it's very hard to kind of hire him and play with him.
Chintan is the most talked about
Compared,
when it comes to
compared.
face, like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Xabi
Calvert-Lewin.
Mazraoui, सब
Mazraoui.
कुछ बोल देते हैं भाई. चिंतन को
अभी
तो छोड़ते ही नहीं
अभी
है
हार्वी एलियट लिख रहा था कोई. बट भाई I'll start with Siddharth and Siddharth के लिए क्वेश्चन है और everybody is please free to join in. एक सुपर चैट है वो मैं ले लेता हूँ off topic, but निधि भैया's rage was best. कल हाँ, thank you so much for the contribution. Yesterday was like a little ragey moment on the channel, but thanks यार, thanks for the contribution. सिद्धार्थ यार, अभी रोमा का मतलब एक इवन एज आउटसाइडर्स ना, लोग ऐसा उम्मीद कर रहे थे कि मोरिनियो उधर गया है, ही स्टार्ट्स टू लुक लाइक हिमसेल्फ, राइट? ओल्ड मोरिनियो, थोड़ा उसको मतलब थोड़ा लाइमलाइट से दूर. मोरिनियो को सैक करना तू अग्री करता है कि नहीं? और तेरे को क्या लगता है कि अभी क्या नेक्स्ट स्टेप है रोमा के लिए? मतलब व्हाट आर यू
I don't
एक्सपेक्टिंग?
agree. Like, I didn't agree with the situation, how Mourinho was terminated and the sack coming in. Like, both out of the blue tha, and everyone was expecting that at least he'll finish the season. Like, the third season curse that has been with Mourinho for years at different clubs. और 2 साल back to back European finals ले जाना, and even the defensive setup that he created at Roma was never seen before. This season, what happened was a lot of injuries played their part, like Smalling not being available, then internal conflicts with players and stuff. So those played a part, but the decision to have him gone was a bit out of blue. Like, I'm sure even DDR, who is now the manager, would have agreed that Mourinho should have finished his stint. What he's doing is incredible right now.
बट ब्रो, क्या मोरिनियो ये भी बोला ना, बहुत सैड था क्योंकि
यार चैट अपनी
वो
यार,
पोर्चुगल
मतलब क्या लोग हैं
वो
चैट.
पोर्चुगल का जॉब उसको ऑफर हुआ था, सऊदी में उसको जॉब ऑफर हुआ था, सो ही फेल्ट ज्यादा हर्ट, लाइक बिकॉज स्टार्ट ऑफ द सीजन उसको वो सब ऑफर्स थे. डू यू थिंक द क्लब लेट हिम डाउन?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's a owner's call. Like, the decision was from the owners. There were rumors that there were players contributing to it, but I don't know how much of that is true. Like, I've seen players have the back of the manager through and through, and there hasn't been any rumor like a player going against him. So it's totally on the owners and the position in which he was in, where it didn't look like he would finish in the top 4 and there'll be no European football next season. So in that perspective, it was a good call, but it did feel like a letdown, like still being in the European competition again this season. So it was correct for him to feel betrayed, is what I felt.
How happy
Just to
were
add-
you, DJ? How happy were you, DJ, when he got the sack again? Being a Juventus
No,
fan.
yeah, honestly, Manas, I feel like Roma's actually, very realistically in the last couple of seasons, they've had very solid continuity. I actually felt quite bad. It was a very good fit. Mourinho, after a very long time, I'd actually seen him,
Why?
go against the grain of his character, where he wasn't grumbling, he was really happy. Roma's kind of in the last couple of seasons got that little bit of a family atmosphere, and it looked like a good fit. The results were maybe not up to scratch in terms of what we expected, because they did have some very interesting signings along the way. But I have to say I was quite surprised when this happened. And but all that said, I think DDR also could be a masterstroke. Great player. He reads the game beautifully. I think in the little glimpses that I've seen, also, if they give him a couple of seasons and there's no knee-jerk reaction, you never know. Yeah, they're a growing team.
Just to add something about Roma, I feel sacking Mourinho, the thing was that if you see Dybala's interview also recently and even Pellegrini's form, ये एक problem हो गया था कि ये प्लेयर्स का फुल पोटेंशियल दिख नहीं रहा था पिच पे अंडर मोरिनियो. लाइक यू, जैसे ही मोरिनियो, द डे मोरिनियो लेफ्ट एंड द डे डीडीआर टुक ओवर, यू कैन सी Pellegrini's form has gone up like 3 notches. He's back to scoring and assisting in every game almost. वो एक चीज है. ऊपर से जैसे आई थिंक सिद्धार्थ टच्ड अपॉन दे एंड डिबाला सेड दिस, बिकॉज उसने बोला कि अभी जब हमारे पास बॉल होता है, वी थिंक मच मोर क्लियरली, हमें ज्यादा क्लैरिटी है बॉल के साथ क्या करना, हम लोग अपने स्ट्रेंथ्स पे ज्यादा खेलते हैं. वेयरएज मोरिनियो का कैसा था, एज he was trying to do whatever he could to win with a certain defensive approach of sorts. Yani, even if you agar aap game dekhoge, the first leg Inter versus Roma, we only won 1-0. That was mainly because of वो लोग कॉम्पैक्ट बैठे थे और उन्होंने बेसिकली कोई चांसेस भी क्रिएट नहीं किए उस गेम में. सो वो एक मोरिनियो के साथ आई थिंक बहुत प्रेडिक्टेबल हो गया था कि उसकी अप्रोच बियॉन्ड दैट इट वाज नॉट गोइंग एनीवेयर. और डैनियल डे रोसी के अगर आप इंटरव्यूज और प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस भी देखोगे, इमीडिएटली ही इज a way better communicator. I think रोमा को ये फ्रेश ब्रेथ की, फ्रेशनेस की जरूरत थी, बिकॉज वो कॉन्फ्रेंसेस में टैक्टिकल ब्रेकडाउन देता है, ही एनकरेजेस हिज प्लेयर, ही कॉल्स देम आउट फॉर फ्लॉज. मोरिनियो का एक ही प्रॉब्लम था कि वो हमेशा ब्लेम गेम खेलता था, यानी कि इधर rarely he would take the blame on himself, either he would put it on the player or the referee or this that. और अगर आप जानते हो, unfortunately for them, their staff and him used to get suspended almost 6-7 games. Even in the Europa League, their assistant coach used to get banned, Salvatore Forti. Like बहुत ज़्यादा off pitch issues पे focus था rather than what was happening on the pitch. So I'm not saying कि उसने खराब job किया. Obviously जो resources थी, if you read news कि Roma's, what is their budget, it's pretty much non-existent. They've spent like 4 million over the last 2 years, and as per FFP, even next summer their budget is probably going to be along the same lines unless they sell someone. तो मतलब उसने जो करना था कर लिया, but I think Roma needed a change of cycle. One thing I will agree with Siddharth is कि I felt they should have probably held on until season end. पर अगर आप देखोगे अभी डैनियल डे रोसी की वजह से they are already the second highest scoring team in the league with 52 goals. I mean the changes are evident now. It was I think AC Milan now, but now Roma is second and they are now close to the UCL spots. अगर इटली को 5th coefficient spot मिल जाता है चैंपियंस लीग का, then Roma will be in it if they play like this. So I think अगर Mourinho रहता तो शायद वो नहीं होता, because with him they were losing games, they could have won बहुत games. और कल का अगर आप गेम देखोगे मोन्जा के अगेंस्ट, आई फील अगर Mourinho रहता उस गेम में, I don't think he would have managed it well. I think कल जैसे De Rossi ने हैंडल किया वो गेम को, right out of the back they scored 2 early goals, game was done there and then. And look at Dybala's form. तो I think वो change needed था, but yeah, I agree with Siddharth कि जैसे किया, it was not the right way. He was even crying on his way out of the training ground. और उसने बोला भी है, he went out of his way and said कि this is the best club I've been at in terms of fan reception और ये वो. He felt the love at Roma, which is there. I mean, जैसे धनंजय ने बोला, their fans really cared for him. I mean, to the point where they held up a banner abusing Lorenzo Pellegrini because the rumor was that Pellegrini was one of the players behind his exit. So they were even trying to attack Pellegrini for it. So, but yeah, I feel the exit was necessary, but rightly नहीं किया शायद. I think बराबर से
मेरे को एक चीज बताओ, आई मीन चिंतन एंड योगेश, इफ यू कैन, क्या होता है जब भी जैसे पिरलो आया यूवेंटस में आके चले गया, हमने देखा है कि स्टीवन जेरार्ड हैज नॉट वर्कड आउट, फ्रैंक लैम्पार्ड एज मैनेजर नॉट वर्कड आउट. मैं बात कर रहा हूँ कि आइकन्स जैसे De Rossi is a legend of Italian football. So do you think it is at the right time? कभी कभी legacy की वाट लग जाती है ना, like you were remembered as that player and then you become the manager and कभी कभी it goes downhill. Chintan, do you think it is?
We have gone through that cycle. We had Seedorf, Inzaghi, Gattuso. So we have gone through the whole grind. यार होता है, एक तो पहली बात तो फर्स्ट ऑल बजट कंस्ट्रेंट्स होते हैं, सेकेंडली एक अट्रैक्शन टुवर्ड्स द क्लब होता है एज अ प्लेयर. एक्स प्लेयर जब भी आते हैं, they have this connection to the club, they know what it means to wear the jersey, but at times it just stops there, of course, just because I feel sub player, however good you are on the pitch, not necessarily they can be good managers, but of course they know the basic reading of the game, they know the basics, but क्या होता है कभी-कभी you as fans give them a longer stick of tolerance compared to other managers, but yeah, when it doesn't work, I don't think it hurts anything more than that, because however hard it was for I'm a big Inzaghi fan. It was so hard for me to even think कि यार people out, but what लगता है, Gattuso walked out without any money, saying that I love this club too much. He missed out a Champions League spot by 1 point, so that hurts. But at times I feel clubs भी अभी ना कुछ ज़्यादा emotional होके ex players को immediately buy कर रही है. Or suppose if right now we have Abate, who is the youth coach right now, and I'm hoping कि यार ऐसा नहीं हो जाए कि उसको ले ले यार. Give them time to grow. I think Pirlo needed time. I think Pirlo was, by the way, I think I'm of a different belief. I think Pirlo did a great job at Juventus. I think he was amazing. He was positive. यार आई फील यूवेंटस उसके बाद पीछे चली गई है. रिजल्ट वाइज नहीं होगा, लेकिन आई फील दे वर क्वाइट गुड अंडर पिर्लो. सो क्लब्स भी समटाइम्स इमोशनल डिसीजन ले लेती है, थिंकिंग यार इससे फैंस भी थोड़े शांत हो जाएंगे. टू लाइक अभी मोरिनो का बैकलैश, लाइक इमेजिन द एवरीवनस अपसेट अबाउट मोरिनो गोइंग, बट यू गेट De Rossi. अरे फैंस तो काम हो ही जाने वाले हैं बिकॉज चल De Rossi इज कम बैक. सो इट्स डिफिकल्ट.
Fair. Yogesh, you are the worst person to ask because this season तेरी टीम ने तो 25 मैनेजर बदल लिया. But what do you have to say about De Rossi coming? Do you think ये long term है? उसके बाद सिद्धार्थ का ओपिनियन ले लेंगे. Do you think ये long term अपॉइंटमेंट है De Rossi का, या फिर जैसे अभी चिंतन ने बोला just to calm everyone down, एक चेंज चाहिए था, लेजेंड कोई ले आओ, no one will be complaining too much.
I think Mourinho को sack करने का decision, I was also quite surprised कि it was not that कि रोमा इतना खराब खेल रही है. They were doing fine. They had a tough run of fixtures, but getting legends into club is like a very dicey. I mean, sometimes it's works out. Zidane जैसा work कर गया तो भाई Zidane हो गया. And नहीं work करता है, then you have all these like Seedorf, Inzaghi, Gattuso के like track record थोड़े से like खराब हुए. Like even with Napoli this season, Mazzari was sort of a legend for the first stint he did. The second stint आया नहीं work कर पाया, and अभी Calzona को hire किया Napoli ने. So they were trying to get Hamsik in the backroom staff as well, but Hamsik ने decline कर दिया. So it's very tricky that good players, ex players coming into club and becoming good coaches, तो वो difficult है थोड़ा. It's not that
भाई
straightforward.
Hamsik in the backroom stuff, I will be there just for the hairstyle, bro. If he still plays with that mohawk, whatever. भाई क्या epic होता है भाई, मतलब क्या character था bro, मतलब.
And
Sid,
what a player, Manas.
yeah. What a player.
Seriously.
What a player.
Legend. Sid, just your take. Do you think De Rossi is long-term fix?
It will show in the April run of games when there are 4 back-to-back big games in Serie. I think those will be the telling signs on how De Rossi, whether he'll stick around, whether he's the right guy for the job. Because right now we've had one enter as a big game, and the other one was Monza, who were also in contention for European places. Apart from that, the 4 matches that we've played have been against teams where ideally you would want all 3 points. So I think the 4 games that are coming, April end and May beginning, are gonna be the deciding factor in De Rossi's stint.
और मानस भाई एक और चीज बोलना चाहता हूँ मोरिनियो पे से सिर्फ ब्लेम शिफ्ट हटाने के लिए. लाइक वी हैव टू रिमेंबर दे डोंट हैव अ स्पोर्टिंग डायरेक्टर राइट नाउ. आई मीन जनवरी में टियागो पिंटो लेफ्ट, तो सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम आई थिंक वो है कि पहले आप लोग स्पोर्टिंग डायरेक्टर हायर करो, फिर विजन देखो किधर जाना है. सिद्धार्थ सेड की जो रन अभी होगा एंड ऑफ सीजन तक उस पर डिपेंड करेगा, बिकॉज डैनियल डे रोसी उसने कोचिंग की है एट करंट सेरिया बी क्लब स्पाल एंड वो स्पेल वाज डिजास्ट्रस. सो नथिंग टू से दैट दिस कैन गो रॉन्ग ईदर. अभी तो सब ठीक चल रहा है स्टार्टिंग में, बट फर्स्ट आई थिंक उनको पहले स्पोर्टिंग डायरेक्टर फाइनलाइज करना चाहिए, देन whether the coach lines in with the vision of the sporting director, फिर देखा जाएगा. So Roma have a lot of work to do with view to next season. So I mean, I'm assuming they'll be hoping that Italy get those 5 spots so that the Champions League money at least comes in और थोड़ा breather मिले थोड़े signings करने को. तो yeah.
I am तो very much hoping Italy get the 5th spot भाई.
Yeah.
इसका मतलब मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड मिस आउट करेगा, ठीक है, फिर मजा आएगा.
अरे बट एक्चुअली टू बी ऑनेस्ट रोमा के जो अनफॉर्चुनेटली साइनिंग्स भी नहीं चले यार, लाइक रेनाटो सैnchez एंड अवार. आई थिंक
That
एवरीवन
was the biggest miss.
भाई
everyone had lot of
Renato Sanchez भाई रेनाटो सैnchez इज लाइक आज के डेट में मटीज खरीदना. मटीज याद है किसी को? Why would you buy that, right? Renato
First of all,
Sanchez like
I think we dodged a bullet. हम लोग linked थे and he chose PSG. I'm so happy about it. Great player, like अच्छा player था. But अभी I think I saw one game. He came on 18 minutes में he was subbed off by Mourinho. 18 minutes, not injury. I think he was just playing terribly. To get subbed off after 18 minutes, Euro winner, surprising. I'm so surprised. And Aouar, I think I had a lot of hopes from him. He was a good player, but I think वो दो big signings उन लोग के नहीं चले. Mourinho को I think it was before. I think we did this podcast start of the season, and I put Howard as one of the players to watch out. Because I really rate him highly, but unfortunate था.
आई थिंक वो मेन चीज है ना चिंतन भाई, उनका अटैक है जो क्लिक कर चुका है. अजमून ही इज एटलीस्ट स्कोरिंग, बट अभी नेक्स्ट सीजन वही है ना, अगर लुकाकू तो आई डोंट थिंक ही विल स्टे. अफोर्ड कर पाएंगे कि नहीं? हाँ, तो
वो तो
वही
निकल जाएगा किधर वापस.
यार लुकाकू ने सिद्धार्थ हैज लुकाकू किस द रोमा बैच येट किया है कि नहीं सेमी?
No, not yet.
Oh, then he's staying. If he's not, then he's staying.
यार डीजे मेरे को एक क्वेश्चन पूछना है. नाउ आई वांट टू, लास्ट टाइम वी डिस्कस्ड कि यूवेंटस का पॉइंट्स रिडक्शन हो गया. यूवेंटस वेंट थ्रू लाइक उनका क्रेस्ट एंड ट्रफ में इट इज द ट्रफ, उनका साइन वेव में दिस इज द ड्रॉप ऑफ एंड ऑल दैट. एलेग्री के ऊपर लाइक देवर एलेग्री के तो ऑबिचुरीज लिख दिए थे लोगों ने कि दिस गाइज डन ये वो. यूवेंटस हैव डन वेल दिस सीजन मैन, राइट? But still, do the problems remain? What do you think? Like, are you still saying कि नहीं अभी okay fine you did what you had to, but अभी जाओ or you need someone new? Are you still in that camp or has that view changed as a Juventus fan?
Actually, very good question, yeah, Nidhi. I feel like he has done a good job. Actually, if you take into perspective, even last year, from a results perspective, a lot of it came down to that 10-point deduction, which took a lot of momentum away. We were in the top 3 at that point in time. This year, I think what has been positive as a result of last year, and if I just stick to the positive, is again further influx of the youngsters. And where I want to give Allegri special credit is the development of like key players, talent like Yildiz. This guy is like he's possibly a generational talent if he's like grown correctly, given the time and space, and that also your platform and is a club like Juve. It's unfortunate where we are in the title race. I personally think 12 points, given Inter still have a game to play, but 12 points I think is not really the quality differential between the two clubs is not, according to me, 12 points. That gap should be shorter. I feel that's where a lot of Allegri's work should have happened. This is now his 4th year or 3rd year, and he's due a contract extension. I think in this time usko bahut samay diya tha, and I think by now he should have hit his stride. But Juve ke hisab se jo positive hai last year, jo jahan hum the with the point deduction, where the team was, the imbalance, I think wo zyadatar I feel like the players are playing a little better as a unit. Rabiot is he's just become an entity to himself under Allegri. Yildiz has developed beautifully. Chiesa has actually suffered a little bit with Yildiz's development and his own injury issues. Vlahovic, was struggling last year, is a much different player this year. A lot of that credit I do give to Allegri, but at the same time I feel that he should be doing more, given that it's not his first year, it's not his second year. इस साल कुछ controversy भी नहीं है. I mean, we should be less than 12 points away from Inter, quite frankly.
But you have a great opportunity to win a trophy as well, na? Lazio के against semi-final है. मतलब
correct.
I mean, there's a lot to look forward to this season.
No, for sure, Manas, वो development तो है. The progress is not perhaps moving as fast as it should be, and I feel that's where Allegri is kind of like slowing down the process. I think it's time for Juve to function a little differently, move away from that old guard mentality of a old school proven Italian coach, and give someone a fair opportunity. I fully agree with Chintan ke Pirlo definitely deserved more time. He had a very positive outlook to how to play football. And I think what was key again was he was developing youngsters. Allegri's also kind of done that now. You see it with Cambiaso also. I think there's a lot more balance. You see the way he's developing Kati. He's being very patient with him. So that little stubbornness has reduced somewhat, and the youngsters have developed. But I think someone like De Zerbi would do far more with a team like this.
It is थोड़ा freaky because मेरे दिमाग में next question was De Zerbi, क्योंकि मेरे को याद है last time you were singing praises of De Zerbi, but De Zerbi का भी मतलब ऊपर नीचे रहा है भाई प्रीमियर लीग में ये सीजन. Yes, granted उसके बहुत and मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ expectations should always be tempered. Nobody is a magician. But De Zerbi, is he still like Juventus में by the way, just to let the audience know, De Zerbi is really admired at Juventus. DJ had told us that उसका chances बहुत है, लोग बहुत पसंद करते हैं management में उसको. And
Usko bhi and Nidhi, I mean, this season Motta is also a name that's thrown around, given also the Inter um, um, affiliation. But I
हाँ,
feel like jo bhi hai, Juve has to kind of now start looking at like someone younger with fresher ideas. I think Allegri ka samay hai abhi, we're resting too much on what he's already achieved at the club and the past. His ideas are very, very stale, and I think it's time, to go with
I think
somebody
with
with fresh
I think
ideas.
I think with DJ, I think DJ is the only Juventus fan I know who has been saying this about Allegri. And what I feel ना अभी तक जो last decade में जो हो रहा था with Juventus, they were playing winning 1-0 and title जीत रहे थे. Now what has happened is with other teams coming up, that's become a little difficult. Now this Inzaghi's Inter is so well driven that उनको सिस्टम है यार. यू रिमूव देयर कोर प्लेयर्स, यू रिमूव देयर कोर प्लेयर्स लास्ट सीजन एंड देखो यार व्हाट आर दे डूइंग दिस सीजन. So I guess it won't work, and let's not forget Juventus are without Europe this season, and I had said it, they will be in the title race because it's Juventus and it's Serie. But ये Allegri का अप्रोच इधर ही चलेगा, यूरोप में नहीं चलेगा.
और एक और चीज, आई मीन जो धनंजय ने बोली, दे हैव जुंतोली एज देयर स्पोर्टिंग डायरेक्टर. हिज होल फिलॉसफी इज टू रिक्रूट यंगर प्लेयर्स, व्हिच ही इज वो उसने ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट कर दी. ही साइनिंग वेरी यंग प्लेयर्स, वो नेक्स्ट जेन टीम के लिए साइन कर रहा है अंडर 23 के लिए. एंड इट डजंट रियली फिट विद Allegri's philosophy. I know Allegri is using younger players, but this began mainly because they were wrecked with injuries last season. His hand was forced और फिर उसको इंटीग्रेट करने लगा. एंड देन ही सॉ कि हाँ ये प्लेयर्स अच्छा कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज हमारे पास अंडर 23 टीम है जो अभी तक सिर्फ अटालांटा के पास है अमंग द टॉप 7. AC Milan will make one, Inter don't have one, Roma don't have one, even Napoli don't. So he realized कि young players difference कर सकते हैं. But the thing is, Dhananjay said, one thing I don't agree is कि I think Allegri ने has done a decent job with what he has. I feel some of your players are a bit limited in the sense that ठीक है, McKennie is performing well this season, but अगर आप वो पूरी midfield देखोगी, if you want to compare it to Inters, they are not as versatile or positionally flexible. So that's where I feel Allegri जो squeeze कर चुका है टीम से, उसने given the circumstances has done it. तुम लोग ने basically obviously signings भी ज्यादा नहीं कर पाए because of the financial issues.
Financial
तो
issues, yeah.
exactly. So I think उसको जो करना था, he did it. I mean, with that defensive approach, but I feel yeah, UA do need a new coach, be it Motta, be it De Zerbi. I think अभी सबसे ज्यादा बड़ा नाम Motta चल रहा है because of what he's doing with Bologna, which I guess we'll touch upon later in the show. But I feel हाँ, UA definitely need a new coach. And surprisingly, कल Allegri के एजेंट ने बोला कि they are thinking about a contract extension and for him staying in the summer. So I don't know if it's a good idea because Allegri needs to adapt. I mean, you see other coaches, even whatever criticism Pioli gets, it is what it is. He has adapted. Simone Inzaghi has adapted from his first 2 years. तो वो क्वेश्चन है कि Allegri वो कब करेगा. मतलब वही एक अप्रोच जैसे चिंतन ने बोला वो सेरिया में चल जाएगा, बट as he said, other teams are improving, mid table teams are also improving, they're all catching up. तो वो कब तक चलेगा? Then after a point you need to change your coach. So I feel I agree with Dhananjay in the sense that कि summer में they have to part ways. If you can get Motta, nothing like it because he likes working with younger players और जुंतोली का वही विजन है. तो yeah.
Yeah, the worry is also parting ways with Allegri and then going back to Conte. That is the other worry.
yeah.
The devil and the deep blue sea. So
Yeah.
that's a concern.
But also, like, just my take. I think after the point deduction, I think थोड़ा stability जरूरत था. मतलब,
हाँ,
and I think Allegri just provided that. कि father figure taking care of the family type. मेरे को ऐसा
Yeah.
just an outsider.
Yeah,
I thought he provided
Yeah,
that, and
for
I think he did a great job. I think he
Yeah.
did a great job doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the right time to part ways. We'll speak about Milan, of course. We'll speak about Inter, Napoli के बारे में भी बात करेंगे. But just one word answers from everyone. Then we'll move to Napoli. 3-horse race चल रहा है Premier League में. Who do you want to see win the league and why? And why is it Liverpool? Let's start with DJ. DJ, तेरे को who do you want to see win the league in England? Is it Liverpool, City, or Arsenal? If you had to pick one.
Guys, very honestly, it's very easy. The choice, it is Liverpool, and I want them to do it for Klopp. I mean, it's a sentimental choice. Yeah, the amount that guy's given the team and the club, the way the club and he have matched over the years, a very sudden announcement. with the departure, it has to be him. There's just sentiment. I think City have won enough. Arsenal, I don't know if they have the depth till the end of the season. I hope it's Liverpool.
Chintan?
या आई थिंक सिटी तो बॉस बहुत हो गया. आई थिंक प्रीमियर लीग मेरे को तो टू बी ऑनेस्ट थोड़ा बोरिंग लगने लगा है बिकॉज ऑफ सिटी. इट्स बिकम या व्हाट इज आई लव क्लॉप. आई हैव बीन वेरी वोकल अबाउट द फैक्ट दैट आई लव क्लॉप. आई लव द फाइनल. Carabao Cup final was amazing to see how he was removing players and putting in youngsters. I was like, भाई 90 minutes हो रहे हैं, थोड़े लाओ, न्यूनेस लंगड़ा है लेकिन आ जाओ लेके पिच में लेके. I was but surprising. He was still injecting youngsters. He would be my only if we had unlimited money, my only target. आर्सेनल के साथ एक सॉफ्ट स्पॉट था अर्ली 2000s में, बट यार आई बिकॉज क्लॉप इज गोइंग आउट फील लाइक व्हाट दैट टार्निशिंग इज रेपुटेशन. यू नो व्हाट आई फील इज अरे क्या जीता है. एंड ऑफ कोर्स टिपिकल फैंस कमिंग अप विद थिंग्स लाइक अरे 7 साल में एक ट्रॉफी. सो फॉर दैट रीजन आई वांटेड टू विन दैट वन मोर लीग टाइटल.
Fair.
2 out of 5. 2 out of 5.
Let's is it going to be 5 out of 5?
याद रखना कुछ और बोलोगे तो जो पैसे बोले वो दूंगा नहीं मैं.
सिद्धार्थ, तेरे को क्या लगता है कौन जीतेगा and who do you want to see win?
So I think City will win. Like the way they are established as a foundation, the bigger chances are for them to win. Who I want to win is Arsenal, so that it shakes up the whole dynamic in the Premier League table. That would be an interesting bet.
Fair. Siddharth is not invited from next time. Param?
क्या तू?
I think City जीतेगा, but I mean just for Klopp, I think Dhananjay pretty much summed up what I wanted to say. मतलब I feel now that he is on his way out and that interview, I think I just want to see him leave on a high note. और I think उसी की वजह से I would want Liverpool to win. I know it's a very close race, और especially अगर आप लोग ने ये pull off किया with the injuries and the whatever is going on, I feel it will be quite something, the best ending for Klopp, and I think I would like to see that. But I feel City might take it eventually.
Nick it, yeah.
योगेश?
या मेरा एक बेस्ट फ्रेंड है तो वो आर्सेनल को
तू गौतम गंभीर बन के स्पर्स नहीं बोलने वाला है ना योगेश इधर?
नहीं, मेरा एक अच्छा फ्रेंड है तो उसके लिए डेडिकेट करता हूँ मैं आर्सेनल बोलना चाहूंगा. बट realistically speaking, I think Man City जीत जाएगी in the end. As it's
I think वो पेप बोला था बराबर बोला था. Like if others don't win, it's okay, good season. But if Pep does not win, it's a failure. And I think just sums up his legacy, I'm guessing. But what I don't like is this. यार तुम लोग हम लोग क्या we are Serie fans, हम लोग है, लेकिन यार इतने तो what I see your profiles and जो banter चलता है वो banter नहीं है यार. तो कुछ ज्यादा तुम लोग EPL में चलता रहता है यार. यूनाइटेड फैंस इतने कमेंट्स कर रहे हैं. अरे भाई टाइटल रेस में तो आओ, बाद में कमेंट करो ना.
अरे भाई वो तो रह रही है चिंतन. I mean, what can we do over there?
एक जोक है दिमाग में लेकिन वो बोलूंगा तो विवाद हो जाएगा, इसलिए मैं नहीं बोलूंगा. ठीक है.
Let me next Sunday is 1v2. It is Liverpool versus Manchester City at Anfield. That is literally a boxing match for the title. So वो मजा आ जाएगा. निधि तो सुपर चैट
है ना. आज डार्बी है, मैनचेस्टर डार्बी है ना.
यूनाइटेड. राइट. भाई कुछ सुपर चैट्स आए and then we'll move on to थोड़ा नापोली के ऊपर क्वेश्चंस. राघव says नूनेस का गोल देख के चेयर से गिर गया था लिवरपूल फॉर द विन. थैंक यू राघव, थैंक यू फॉर द कंट्रीब्यूशन. आप चेयर से गिर गए और मानस ने चेयर सर पे रख लिया, तो आई गेस वी बैलेंस्ड द वर्ल्ड. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द कंट्रीब्यूशन. आदित्य says any update on Martinez and अच्छा ये भाई आपका ना क्वेश्चन आई एम पार्किंग इट ब्रो. We will come to Motta wala question and we will also come to Martinez and Inzaghi. Yes, Manas कुछ बोल रहा था.
Yogesh, tell me what's up, yaar. I remember you were pretty cocky at the start of the season, yaar. I clearly remember it.
One of the reasons why I'm here is for that only.
We'll go back to
That
back.
exactly.
We'll go back to back, and Osimhen and Quaradona going nowhere. तुमने तो मतलब चेल्सी को शर्म आ रही है भाई, जितने मैनेजर तुमने चेंज कर दिए भाई. व्हाट इज अप विद नापोली भाई, कुछ बताएगा
यार? क्या करें, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा किसी को भी. मुझे भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा क्या चालू है.
योगेश, मैंने तुझे बोला था, यू सेड डे लॉरेंटिस परफेक्ट फिगर है. फर्स्ट वो सीजन प्रीव्यू मैंने तुझे बोला था वो ही करेगा तेरा सीजन खराब. आई रिमेंबर यू सेड ही इज द परफेक्ट ओनर और ये वो. यार मतलब उसी ने तो सीजन खराब
अब सीजन में तो बहुत सारी चीजों की वजह से खराब हुआ। डी लॉरेंटेस के कांड किए उसने।
तू इतना
बट
तू इतना सबड्यूड
समवट
तू इतना सबड्यूड क्यों है ब्रो? बोलना आराम से। आई फील लाइक
समर ट्रांसफर मार्केट का सबसे बड़ा ये था कि ओसिमियन और कवारास्केलिया दोनों जा रहे हैं। अब मैन सिटी खरीद रही है, पीएसजी खरीद रही है, मैड्रिड खरीद रही है, लोग जा रहे हैं, इतने का बिड आया है, सऊदी अरब का बिड आया, जा रहे गए नहीं प्लेयर्स यार। बहुत बड़ा काम हो गया वो कि मेन प्लेयर्स को सेल नहीं किया टाइटल जीतने के बाद में। खाली एक
तो
किम
are you angry कि मेन प्लेस नहीं गए?
नहीं आई एम सेइंग कि पूरा खाली कोच के चेंज होने की वजह से कितने, मुझे लगता है इंटरनली कुछ ना डायनामिक्स कुछ तो बहुत फेल हुआ है। प्लेयर्स का मोरल बहुत डाउन हो गया है, उनके टैक्टिक्स में काफी कंफ्यूजन वगैरह दिखने लगा है। जो नापोली का इतना गेम में देखता रहता हूँ, लाइक लास्ट सीजन का इतना स्मूथ फुटबॉल दिखता था। लाइक समटाइम्स यू कुड प्रेडिक्ट कि फर्स्ट पास ज़िएलिंस्की जा रहा है, सेकंड पास कवारा जाएगा, थर्ड वहां से मारियो रूई को जाएगा, फिर ओसिमेन को पास जाने वाला है, वो दिखता था। बट ये सीजन कुछ भी हेवायर हो रहा है, लाइक कहीं पे भी खेल रहे हैं, कैसे भी खेल रहे हैं, एंड मोरल डाउन है। एंड सबसे पहले मैच स्टार्ट हुआ नहीं कि 1-0 डाउन, एक गोल कंसीड कर लिया। कैसे कंसीड किया? कभी मेरिट ने कुछ गंदा कर दिया, कभी लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस शूट आ गया, गोल चला गया। तो लाइक गोल्स लेफ्ट राइट कंसीड कर रहे हैं, एंड देन फिर पूरा मैच खाली ड्रॉ निकालने में ही चला जा रहा है। तो
तुम लोग में से कोई पंजाब गया है कभी?
हाँ
Have you any of you been to Punjab?
Yeah,
You've
I've
been to
been.
Punjab, right? देखो पता है, मैं ना जब इंजीनियरिंग कर रहा था ना, तो हम लोग को एक बार ना बॉश की फैक्ट्री में लेके गए थे। तो बॉश की फैक्ट्री में दे वर क्रिएटिंग अ न्यू वॉशिंग मशीन, एंड दैट वॉशिंग मशीन दे वर शोइंग कि देख भाई, इसमें इतना हम लोग ने इतना आरपीएम का ये डाला है मोटर, इससे हम लोग ये कर सकते हैं। नाउ दिस इज वेयर द फैब्रिक इज पुल्ड बट नॉट पुल्ड इनफ। मैं पंजाब गया ना, मतलब इट वाज अ वेरी इंप्रेसिव मशीन। मैं पंजाब गया ना, वो सेम मॉडल में मैंने लस्सी बनते हुए देखी, क्योंकि इट मिक्सेस द लस्सी वेल।
Yeah.
योगे ओसिमेन का थोड़ा वो हाल नहीं हो गया इस सीजन नापोली में? लाइक व्हाट आर यू डूइंग विद ओसिमेन?
ओसिमेन का थोड़ा सा लाइक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्सटेंशन दिया है, और ओसिमेन को ही इज द हाईएस्ट पेड प्लेयर इन सेरिया राइट नाउ। Lautaro Martinez and other guys, he's getting earning more than him. एंड लाइक 12 मैचेस तो मिस कर दिए ये एफकॉन के चक्कर में। एफकॉन पूरे पता नहीं क्या शेड्यूल होता है इनका, मिडल ऑफ द सीजन 12 मैचेस। ओसिमियन नहीं था, अंगीसा नहीं था 12 मैचेस, तो वो एक बड़ा हिट था। बट लाइक बंदा 3 मैच में 4 गोल मार चुका है यार ऑलरेडी रिटर्न आने के बाद में, तो ही इज सॉलिड। एंड अगर इफ ही स्टेज, मार्च स्टार्ट हो गया, इट इज लाइक मैं खुद सोच रहा था मार्च तक टाइटल फाइट करेंगे, क्या कर मस्त सीजन जाएगा, ये करेंगे वो करेंगे।
इतना डिसअपॉइंटेड लग रहा है, मतलब मेरे को अब पूछने में भी बुरा लग रहा है। इट्स लाइक मतलब आई डोंट वांट टू।
नीति भाई ये जो
देखते हैं, अभी भी सीजन सेव हो जाएगा टॉप 5 लाइक 4th प्लेस, सो आई डोंट थिंक सो।
या इट इज ऑन।
प्लस बारसा टाई है यार चैंपियंस लीग में भी।
मैं वही
ties
हाँ,
are
उसी में
over,
आने वाला
तो
था।
1-1 है भाई। You can progress to the quarter final भाई in this season, which I
and
think
you
would
can
be
help
great.
directly इटली को ही हेल्प कर लेंगे सेरिया को अगर क्वार्टर फाइनल्स आ गए तो। And plus I think they are fighting for the club world cup also with Juventus.
Yeah, with
Juve. They need to win this game to go above Juventus.
यस डी लॉरेंटेस ने तो कुछ तो केस भी चालू कर दिया यूवेंटस के
अगेंस्ट यू है। हां, he
उसकी
doesn't want
favorite है
to
Juventus।
और कैसे जीतेगा, इस केस ही बनाना पड़ेगा।
एक और आई मीन फनी।
डी लॉरेंटेस इज लाइक द डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प ऑफ लाइक सीरिया ना, मतलब कुछ तो उसको करना है।
मतलब निधि भाई यही ना,
निधि आई थिंक उसका प्रॉब्लम क्या है ना, that he can't let anyone get bigger than him at the club. Every coach he has a fallout with. Ancelotti was a great appointment. I mean, he fell out, results weren't working. Look at what he did with Spalletti. I mean, like, you know, it's like you shoot yourself in the foot. और उसका वही प्रॉब्लम है, and उसका ईगो जो है is linked to the players. No, he doesn't care about the coach and the philosophy, not realizing that the coach is what's going to see them through every season. You know?
निधि भाई मैं आपको उसी दिन वही बोल रहा था ना कि अगर इसके पास कोचिंग लाइसेंस होता तो यही कोच कर लेता। 3 कोच होते ही नहीं, एक कोच सैकोकिड है। पर एक और चीज बोलना चाहता हूँ, समर में हिज फर्स्ट चॉइस आफ्टर स्पलेटी वाज थियागो मोटा। उसने थियागो मोटा को अप्रोच किया, इंटरव्यू किया। मोटा ने पहली क्वेश्चन उसको पूछा कि स्पोर्टिंग डायरेक्टर किधर है? उसने बोला मैं कर लूंगा, तो टेंशन मत ले। मोटा नेवर रिप्लाइड आफ्टर दैट। उसको पता है डे लॉरेंटेस कांट बी ट्रस्टेड विद ऑल दिस। रूडी गार्सिया को लाया, मैंने आई थिंक बोला था सीजन प्रीव्यू में कि टैक्टिकली खराब अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं है, बट मैन मैनेजमेंट हॉरिबल. वो तो इटालियन में प्लेयर्स के साथ कम्युनिकेट भी नहीं कर रहा था. ही वाज डूइंग मोर पर्सनल शोज देन ट्रेनिंग सेशंस विद नापोली. वो गया, ही ओन्ड अप टू हिज मिस्टेक. दे गॉट इन वन ऑफ द वर्स्ट कोचेस. ही थॉट मज्जारी लाएंगे, मज्जारी के साथ, बिकॉज एक एक्स नापोली है, नापोली हिस्ट्री कुछ कर लेगा. एब्सोल्युटली हॉरिबल. आई मीन टैक्टिकली तो हिडियस था नापोली एकदम. और एंड में काल्जोना लाया. आई मीन दैट्स अ गुड अपॉइंटमेंट, बट De Laurentiis इज द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम. लाइक अभी जैसे धनंजय ने बोला कि वो ज्यादा फोकस दूसरी इश्यूज पे कर रहा है. ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट व्हाई यूवेंटस डोंट डिजर्व टू बी इन द क्लब वर्ल्ड कप, वेयरएज उसको फोकस करना चाहिए कि मैं समर में किसको लाऊं, ओसिमेन को कैसे हैंडल करूं. ठीक है, ओसिमेन की थोड़ी गलतियां है, ही इज नॉट अ सेंट, बट उसने जैसे De Laurentiis ने ज़िएलिंस्की का भी रिन्यूअल पूरा मेस अप कर दिया. आई मीन ही हैंडल दैट पोरली. उसने सेंटर बैक साइन नहीं किया. आई मीन नटान साइन किया, बट किम मिन जाए को अच्छे से रिप्लेस नहीं किया. यू कैन नॉट बी गोइंग इनटू अ सीजन विद हुआन जीसस एज योर फर्स्ट चॉइस सेंटर बैक. आई थिंक सिद्धार्थ कैन वाउच फॉर दैट बीइंग अ रोमा फैन. एंड या मतलब, और क्वारास खेलिया सेम फॉर्म नहीं है. देयर बेस्ट प्लेयर इज मटेओ पोलिटानो, हु इज genuinely average. I'm sorry, but he's an average player.
But
That's
I
their best.
seriously don't know ये Osimhen के साथ हुआ क्या. Like randomly I read a statement saying that he's not going to be playing for the rest of the season, and it does not look like he's interested in playing. And Kvaratskhelia, I think it's just the case of first 6 months he was an unknown entity, and it happens with a lot of players. People pay attention to your player, right? Because once you've done so well, I think people have paid attention to him. So I guess it's become a little easier to handle him. डबल टीम करेंगे प्लस. बट आई डोंट नो व्हाट्स हैपेंड टू ओसिमेन. मेरे को पता नहीं चल रहा है क्या हो गया उसको.
योगेश, बट लगता है कि बारसा को हरा पाओगे जेन्युइनली?
यार 2 हफ्ते पहले तो नहीं लग रहा था. कैल्जोना के लास्ट मैच देखे तो काफी सही लगा. 6-1 हराया. कुछ
ड्रॉ चल जाएगा यार.
देख सकते हैं, लाइक फाइट करेंगे यार. बॉल गोल है, कहीं पे भी गोल घुस जाएगा. द बॉल इज राउंड.
Probably the most interesting match in the Champions League.
एरिक टेन हैग जैसा बात किया अभी तू. द बॉल इज राउंड.
But I guess before we move on, एक चीज तो सिद्धार्थ से पूछना पड़ेगा. आई एम वेरी अपसेट. अजय नहीं आया था यार. रोमा लाज़ियो वर्सेस बायर्न यार, क्या मैच था.
हाँ भाई.
What a difficult situation to be in, because as Serie fans you want Italian teams to do well, but my God, must be hard for you to say that I hope Lazio goes through.
Siddharth, and plus to that question, do you have hatred for Lazio because you stay in India? वो hate आता है क्या? जैसे मैं मुंबई में बैठ के मेरे को एवर्टन के लिए उतना hatred नहीं है. तेरे को लात्सियो के लिए hatred आता है क्या?
Looking at the matches from the past, like since I've been watching the games, the derbies and everything, the emotions that go in, how their players treat our players, that gradually builds up that rage. And their owner doing things, talking crap about Roma and all that plays out. And plus everything is there on the internet. The fans are responsible. So that is there. Like, I didn't want Lazio to win against Bayern, but they won because Bayern is going in their own spiral right now. But it's good for us only because if we take the final space for the Champions League, so that is good.
Bhai, there is a genuine possibility Lazio versus Napoli quarterfinal ho. Okay.
I don't think Yogesh wants any Serie team.
भाई, एंड इंटर तो मेरे लिए डार्क हॉर्सेस है भाई टू विन इट. डार्क हॉर्सेस के
अब तो डार्क
more than dark horses, yeah.
हाँ,
exactly.
I take that back. I think they're one of the favorites. They're one of the favorites to win it. Inter, I think दूसरे टीम्स के लिए आउटसाइड सेरिया इज एवरीवन सेकंड टीम इन द चैंपियंस लीग ये सीजन. लास्ट ईयर जो नापोली के वो जो एक फील था सबके लिए, फील गुड स्टोरी ब्ला 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 जो था, सॉरी ब्ला 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 बोल रहा हूँ योगेश, बट अभी इट्स द पास्ट, अभी तो नहीं वो फील गुड स्टोरी. बट आफ्टर द वे इंटर प्लेड लास्ट सीजन चैंपियंस लीग फाइनल में स्पेशली दिल जीत लिया था बहुत लोगों का, और अभी दे हैव कैरीड इट फॉरवर्ड. अनलाइक एसी मिलान जो सेमीफाइनल तक पहुंचे, कुछ एवरीथिंग फिजल्ड डाउन. इंटर तो हैव ग्रोन फ्रॉम स्ट्रेंथ टू स्ट्रेंथ. मतलब लुकाकू बेच के थुराम आ गए. इट फील्स लाइक अ ह्यूज अपग्रेड. आपके साइनिंग्स भी समर फील्स लाइक a great signing as well. I think you've signed one more defender जिसका नाम मैं भूल रहा हूँ.
Bisek, he's a very young kid. Augusto, Bisek. We signed a player from
Pavard. I wanted to say Pavard. भाई मतलब it won't surprise me अगर सेमीफाइनल में वापस 2 इटालियन टीम हो जाए. मतलब अगर लाजियो नापोली हो गया तो फिर और इंटर तो पहुंच ही सकता है वापस, 2 टीम हो सकती है भाई सेमीफाइनल में, मजा आएगा फिर तो।
I think their biggest upgrade or I thought would be the most difficult to replace would be Brozovic. यार ये वो engine है उन लोग की टीम का था, and कितना easy transition from Brozovic to what they're doing right now. Hakan has slotted in so well into that position, and in that midfield to say in midfield which has Barella, to say that you outperforming Barella, it's a big thing, a big compliment for Hakan that you're outperforming Barella, man.
क्रिस जेरिको बोल रहा है। चिंतन मिलान का क्या सीन है ब्रो? मतलब तो टू द अनइनिशिएटेड एंड टू द कैजुअल व्यूअर, मेरे को एसी मिलान को देख के ना, मतलब आई फील जैसे वो लोग देखते हैं कि अरे एसी मिलान में से हम थियो हर्नांडेस को खरीद लेंगे, एसी मिलान में से हम राफेल लियाओ को खरीद लेंगे, बट उनका भी मतलब वो दुकान खोल के नहीं बैठे हैं, उनका भी है एक प्रोजेक्ट, उनका भी एक सीन है। तो तू बताएगा एज एन एसी मिलान फैन, वेयर इज दैट गोइंग? क्योंकि अभी लीग में तो चलो थर्ड है, थोड़ा कंसिस्टेंट तुम लोग हो गए हो, चैंपियंस लीग whatever happened, but what do you think?
I feel we just got bought over and वो इस issue settle नहीं हुआ था, and there were a lot of I think with Maldini going was a big kick in the gut, you can say, for the fans, even for the players. Liao के interview से, Liao के his book is just come out, and he said that they found out overnight that Maldini is leaving, so it changes the dynamics, and I feel Theo, Liao, Mike, they're a core group of players, and they've all been linked with other teams, and it is as a Serie A fan, I think the सबसे bitter pill to swallow is एक 100-150 million का offer आया. It's very hard to reject an offer which is this big, and especially how Liao is playing and how he's been popular. It's very hard to see us not accept it. But I think my consistent opinion has been this only, that I think Pioli has ran his course. I think यार मतलब हम लोग ने अभी तक एक नंबर 6 नहीं लिया है. We have a team, you want to play 4-2-3-1, जो सिस्टम चल रहा था, जो सिस्टम इतना अच्छा चल रहा है against all teams, even last season against Napoli जो चला था. But यार when you don't have certain players for certain positions, वो नहीं चलने वाला है. So I feel there is turmoil, and we sold Tonali, which was a shocker for us because this randomly bid आया 64 million and चला गया. To be honest, good money. 64 million is good money for us.
गोलमाल लग रहा है उधर, कुछ गोलमाल लग रहा है उधर।
कुछ उधर कुछ दाल में का तुम लोगों को पहले से पता था शायद।
हो सकता है, it feels like can be true. हो सकता है कि इतना जल्दी ओवरनाइट।
This is peak Italian football ना भाई, आउटसाइड से कि पता था कि जुआरी निकला है इसलिए बेच दिया।
Because there was a lot of like there were players involved, right? And I think this is the case was going on for a year before. तो I think उनको शायद कुछ तो hint रहेगा कि people are involved. Name drops हो रहे थे. I think Sandro's name came out pretty late, but I guess पता होगा. And only thing is, if it is that case, then I think it's a master stroke. But then again, यार आप players ला रहे हो, अभी US biased, American biased players लिए, Musa, good player. I am pretty excited to see him play. But did we need him? I don't think so. 20 million K, we needed him. We needed a number 6. So to be very honest, I really think our squad is a good squad. It's a decent squad. I think on paper it's a great squad. But यार एक manager purely, I don't think he's cut it out for now. Like नहीं चलेगा यार अभी.
Who's your ideal manager? और उसके बाद
भाई योगेश को देखना, he looks like he's done with life bro, like
छोड़ दिया है। ठीक है bro, एक ही सीजन खराब हुआ, अभी भी है रे राउंड ऑफ 16 में। मतलब ऐसा क्या तू मतलब क्यों आया हूं मैं यहाँ?
Actually उसको पता है हम लोग सब उसके लिए आए हैं. The way he was a back-to-back defense. I am so happy because I think in the last 15 years the worst title defense Milan का रहा है, and I don't have a corner, but I नहीं कर सकता हूँ. अभी Napoli title defense has been pretty.
It reminds me so much of the Italian national team. The way we fell apart 2006 to 2010 का जो transition था. Napoli has a very similar story on that front, in the way they've gone about this title defense.
Title favorites से group stage knockout.
योगेश कुछ बोला है क्या? मैं नहीं सहता ये सब यार।
हाँ इतना तो मतलब गाली वाली दे दे ब्रो, मतलब
नहीं यार, गाली
ऐसे
नहीं दूंगा।
कंट्रोवर्सी कर दे यार योगेश।
डी लॉरेंटेस
कुछ
is
कर
ऐसा
आज है, आज है यूवेंटस के साथ मैच है आज।
हाँ मैच है।
देखते हैं आज क्या कमाल होता है। सैन मैराडोना पे ही है, तो लास्ट सीजन 5-1 आ रहा था, देखते हैं इस बार क्या होता है।
but don't forget
ये
the
उनका
position, no?
बात।
But
एक दो सुपर चैट्स आए
I,
एंड देन हाँ बोलो बोलो।
I think एक Arsenal और Spurs का banter होता था बीच में. I remember they used to celebrate this day where how many ever years Arsenal has finished
सेंट
above.
टॉटरिंगम्स,
Yeah,
सेंट
Saints
टॉटरिंगम्स।
Tottenham's.
so that time they used to all the fans. I've gone to the Arsenal stadium and the fans used to sing "Mind the Gap, Tottenham." I think DJ बोल सकता है regardless of the result. Mind the gap.
एक दो सुपर चैट्स आए, उसके बाद लेट्स
Every
प्रोसीड विद
everyone
एनी।
sounds like anti-Napoli, bro.
हाँ ब्रो, मतलब इट्स लाइक योगेश यार, तू दे दे गाली ब्रो, मैं नहीं तू चिंता मत कर, मैं
Beep
हूँ
कर
तेरे साथ।
देंगे.
Any update on Martinez and Inzaghi renewal? A lot of teams would have loved to see him. Inzaghi has been the best manager this season, says Aditya. Thank you so much for the contribution. परम क्या बोलता है ब्रो? शॉर्ट में निपटाते हैं फिर आगे बढ़ते हैं।
हाँ फिर with Lautaro Martinez the talks are in advanced stages. अभी वो सिर्फ last details finalize करना बाकी है. He has constantly said he's happy. He doesn't really want to leave, and his agent has also said the same. I mean, the guy owns a restaurant in Milan as well. So I mean, I don't think he wants to leave. अभी जो सर, he still has 2 years on his contract, तो कोई rush नहीं है. जो media rush hype up करे कि he has to renew immediately. There is no rush. उसका contract 2026 में expire होता है. और with Inzaghi, his contract expires in 25, but with coaches we only offer like 1 or 1.5 years of renewal. We don't go too overboard. So the talks are on, but I think focus end of the season pe hoga. Again, there is no rush because there is no one who is unhappy at the club. There is no reason to be unhappy. तो ऐसा कोई issue नहीं है. Issue सिर्फ media create करेगी जब बार-बार articles लिखते हैं कि इसने renew अभी तक नहीं किया है. There is कोई rush की जरूरत ही नहीं है. मतलब time है season end में. Season जब end होगा तब देख लेंगे. तो ऐसा कोई rush नहीं है. I mean, money wise it shouldn't be a problem because हम लोग भी क्लब वर्ल्ड कप में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं, उससे पैसा आएगा. चैंपियंस लीग रेवेन्यूज आर गोइंग अप 30% नेक्स्ट सीजन ऑनवर्ड. सो this time there's no need to worry on that.
Do you think Param the
Right.
fact that वो World Cup जीता Martinez will help him stay longer at Inter? Not that he needs to
Sorry,
move. I
I
think
lost-
Inter is a huge.
I lost you there. Can you repeat?
World
The
Cup,
fact
World Cup.
the
हाँ.
fact that वो World Cup जीता है Martinez. Do you think it will help him stay longer at Inter? Not that Inter is not winning anything or Inter is a small club or anything. ऐसा कुछ नहीं मैं imply कर रहा हूँ. But कभी-कभी क्या होता है when you win something that big, मेरे को कभी-कभी वो ग्रीजमैन के साथ लगता है कि ग्रीजमैन वर्ल्ड कप जीत गया. लोग बोलते हैं कि ग्रीजमैन कभी लीग नहीं जीता. भाई वो वर्ल्ड कप जीता है. He has done it. You know. So do you think Martinez का is something similar that he is going to end his career at Inter come what may?
I mean, modern day football में ending career with one club is a difficult thing to say, but I have seen that passion from Lautaro Martinez जो मैं दूसरे players से expect कर रहा था. Like for example, Milan Skriniar who was supposed to be the next Inter captain, who was everybody's favorite. उसने of all people created a problem and left for PSG. He broke a lot of club rules, this that. But with Lautaro, I feel it's something different. वो जो उसका relationship है with fans, it reciprocates. He is very grateful to the club. He has said it many times, and even his family and all have no issues. And given Inter's progress in general on the map of football, I feel there is a chance कि वो long term तो रहेगा. I don't think forever. Again, it's modern day football, so maybe he will leave at some point, but I think long term तो रहेगा. Again, he's a captain. He stepped up and taken the onus. उसने वो role भी बहुत seriously लिया है. So he has he's not unhappy. I think he has every reason to stay. अभी वो कब renewal आएगा again वो देख लेंगे. But yeah, I think he will stay for a long time, just like Barella. So.
But Banasi, that question can go both ways, na? If he's won the World Cup and then he wins the Serie with Inter, वो motivation की भी बात हो जाती है फिर. Then you know where's your next challenge coming from? And you know, especially with that World Cup win, now he's a very visible player across Europe. So there will be offers. He may want a different challenge. वो भी हो सकता है, you know. And
Champions League.
I
the
just
Champions
feel
League could be that challenge.
But it may be winning the Champions League through another club or with another league, you know. That's possible
but it
as
feels
well.
like from an outside point of view, boys, that he loves the club a lot.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
कभी-कभी ऐसे लगता है कि इनके साथ ही करना है. वैसा मेरे को वाइब आता है with him.
That's the
I think
vibe I've got. Sorry, go
very
ahead.
true, very true. Sorry, Parmesh. So yeah, very true. But I think Serie is unique in that sense. Ke if at all there is a league where players will stay for the love of a jersey, if at all, in today's football, it is most likely Serie. But and also Argentines and Inter have that vibe.
Yeah.
But also, but the kind of money that's prevalent today, you can't say big offer from PSG, big offer from England. He may be tempted. And he may genuinely still love Inter, and he may go there and be disillusioned, but he
DJ,
may
but he
be
might be
tempted to try a
tempted.
future.
But my important question is, इंटर के लिए मार्टिनेज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. आई तो फील इट्स अदर वे अराउंड. आई थिंक मार्टिनेज के लिए इंटर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. वो सिस्टम में बैठ गया है.
Yeah,
around
correct.
him, the way he holds the ball, now that he's got Thuram, how he runs. So can he be this effective somewhere else? Of course, he's a quality player. He can be, but does he want to take that risk at this age, this time in his career? Play
Or
Yeah,
वो
but
valid
no better
question
time, not since. No better time. He's leaving as a winner. He's leaving as a World Cup
No,
winner.
but
He's
probably
leaving as a
one last
Serie.
push with Inter
But-
at the Champions
but-
League. So
But which to Chintan's point, I think उसने एक valid question raise किया कि can he replicate? Because so far जो भी player हमें छोड़ के गया है has struggled everywhere. Hakimi also at PSG struggled for 2 years and now finally he's playing well. Skriniar out for the season injured. So Lukaku, you saw what happened. मुझे ज़्यादा बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो वो एक valid question है कि do you really want to leave the club where you are given the love you deserve at the end of the day? And again, Milan is not a bad city to live in either from a player's perspective. It's one of the best cities to live in. So he has everything here. But Dhananjay's point is also valid. Motivation की बात हो सकती है. But as of now, तो as of today, as of this stream, no question marks. We'll have to see. अगर जैसे चिंतन ने बोला कोई मेगा ऑफर लेके आ जाए क्लब को like 150 million, 200 million, then financially the club has to consider. Even when Newcastle knocked on Inter's door to ask for Barella, Inter had to here's Barella's opinion. He to immediately shot them down. That was not a question. He said no right away. But as an obligation of the club, they have to ask the player. वो consider करना पड़ता है because the money is there. It's important. So that remains to be seen.
Especially
एक दो
also
super chat.
Marotta is running the club, so he will listen to a good offer.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
Sid, do you think
absolutely.
he's the best one, top 3 strikers in the world right now, Martinez? Because Haaland to list पे आता ही है. There are likes of Lewandowski, Kane. There are a few in the conversation. Would you say he's top 3, Lautaro Martinez?
I'd say top 5, not top 3.
Okay.
Like I see Haaland, Mbappe, Lewandowski,
Darwin
and
Núñez.
Darwin,
Núñez, no, not yet.
Not
He's yet to hit
yet.
that place.
Joking, bro. Joking.
Núñez is
of
best
course.
at hitting the
Vlahovic,
post.
I feel as a centre forward, Vlahovic has far better qualities than Martinez. Just that Martinez has
I
that
don't
work
agree.
ethic to his game.
Guys, also, but the thing is, Martinez is also, like Chintan said, he's a very system player. That's where you have to question, you move him out of a system, how he will struggle in another
But-
setup. Vlahovic is
the
a
thing
little
is-
bit more flexible, but not that they are like for like, I feel, as
That's the thing. I think
comparative.
Vlahovic का भी यही proper first consistent season रहा है, barring the Fiorentina
Yeah.
one. Plus, this is the first season where he's learned how to play with his back to goal. Lautaro, on the
Yeah.
other hand, his technical ability is on another level. He, despite being short, he can hold up the ball. He presses and everything. So I would disagree with Siddharth, or wherein he says कि he's not top 5. I feel he's top 3 just because of this season. The only thing was lacking कि वो consistently score नहीं करता था, और वो ये season हो गया. He's already the runaway top scorer. So I think he's already elite, and I think he's gone beyond the system player tagline, because right now, because of how complete he is, I see him adapting anywhere, of course.
Yogesh, Osimhen or Martinez?
Osimhen, obviously, yeah.
Okay. Just पूछा.
एक दो चैट्स आए वो करके एंड देन विल मूव ऑन टू अनदर. एक क्वेश्चन है मोटा के बारे में, वो मैं एंड में लूंगा. गोल के बाद निधि भैया का गुस्सा देख के डर गया. थैंक यू सो मच राघव. कोई डरने की बात नहीं है. थैंक्स फॉर द
कल हमारे स्ट्रीम पे जाइए 99th मिनट में डार्विन नूनेज ने विनर
Oh, I
मारा.
saw
सो
the
वो
goal,
सीन्स
yes.
बहुत
हाँ,
पागल
yeah.
थे हमारे वॉच अलोंग पे. सो मैंने ये चेयर उठा के सिर पे मारी. निधि लॉस्ट
आई थिंक वो नॉटिंघम फॉरेस्ट के ओनर या डायरेक्टर वो क्या टनल के पीछे, रेफरी के पीछे भागा.
वो
यार,
drop
ये सब
kick के ऊपर.
सेरिया में होता है, इधर नहीं होता था. आई वाज सो हैप्पी टू सी दैट.
हाँ वो ड्रॉप के ऊपर कंट्रोवर्सी हुआ था. बट थैंक्स फॉर द कंट्रीब्यूशन. देव शंकर सेज व्यूज ऑन लास्ट मिनट मैड्रिड वर्सेस वेलेंसिया कंट्रोवर्सी. भैया इसके
Oh.
बारे में हम लोग कल बात करेंगे. आई वांट टू टॉक अबाउट इटालियन फुटबॉल ऑन दिस पॉडकास्ट. बट यस इट वाज वेरी कंट्रोवर्शियल. मेरे हिसाब से गलत डिसीजन. इसको हम लोग कल बात करेंगे. कल के इसमें कवर करेंगे. थैंक यू सो मच एंड सॉरी फॉर नॉट पिकिंग इट अप भाई. हर्षिल सेज ऑफ टॉपिक बट निधि भैया बैंगलोर में मीटअप. हर्षिल मैं शाहरुख खान थोड़ी हूँ कि मतलब मैं ऐसा एक पब बुक कर लूंगा और ऐसा जाके वहां खड़ा हो जाऊंगा. मीटअप मतलब स्क्रीनिंग वीनिंग में आता हूँ मिल ले भाई. मतलब ऐसा मत.
Nidhi, you are now Chuck Norris, bro. Chuck Norris of YouTube community. I like.
राइट. थैंक्स बट भाई कभी भी आके मिल ले यार किसी स्क्रीनिंग वीनिंग में. मैं ऐसा कोई सेलिब्रिटी नहीं हूँ. सिद्धार्थ आई वांट टू आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन. मोटा एज अ मैनेजर क्या क्या बोलता है? मतलब डू यू थिंक इजी कैन ही मैनेज अ बिग क्लब इन फ्यूचर? मतलब ये तो obviously, but what do you think? What do you think
He
about Thiago Motta?
can, like right now, he has a lot of young players at his disposal, and how he's molding them shows like he's looking for a future where he can build a club for years. So that perspective, like I think he'd be perfect at a big club who's willing to spend on young talent.
मैं एक चीज बोला चाहता हूँ निधि भाई, इसका क्या है ना, बट बोलोनिया द सीजन दे आर हैविंग 50 I look at it as a very 50-50 in the sense that I feel Motta को सिर्फ 50% क्रेडिट मिलना चाहिए. 50% should go to the sporting director they've hired, Giovanni Sartori, who basically took Atalanta to who put Atalanta back on the map basically. ये जो भी Atalanta का आप देख रहे हो, he deserves equally big credit because वही ये सब low cost signings लाता है, जैसे Lewis Ferguson, the Scottish captain, reviving the career of players like ex-Roma player like Calafiori, all these guys. Joshua Zirkzee को revive करना, उस पे ज़्यादा trust डालना. Obviously, Motta deserves credit, but this guy took Atalanta on the put Atalanta on the map. उसने Atalanta को Champions League में वापस लिया. He had taken a club like Chievo Verona to the Champions League, a club that doesn't exist anymore. तो Motta ने tactically बहुत अच्छा ideas implement किए, but it's more of a sync process wherein Bologna have the right management, the right coach. What Motta ने जो किया है basically उसने players पे ज़्यादा trust डाला है. Joshua Zirkzee used to flop at every loan spell after Bayern Munich wherever he used to go, but उसने after the Bayern spell, but here in Bologna after Marco Arnautovic left, he realized कि we have to step up my game. Motta ने उसको as not a traditional number 9, but as Zirkzee said the other day, he's more of a 9.5. तो ये सब ट्रस्ट करके अगर आप उसकी सिस्टम भी देखो, they are not scared to press any other team higher up the pitch. Who is Inter's kryptonite this season? Bologna knocked us out of the Coppa Italia, held us at the Miazza to a 2-2 draw. तो and they're taking points of big teams. So Motta ने जो किया है उसने basically players पे ज़्यादा ट्रस्ट डाला है. उसने influence, उसकी thesis अगर आप देखोगे, he has taken influence from Gasperini, Mourinho, Bielsa and Joachim Löw's Germany. So उसका belief है कि he will like to play a more attacking oriented game, or despite whatever struggles arise during the game, he always somehow manages to find a solution. Lazio ने Bayern को हराया, but the way Motta beat Lazio the other day, not that long ago, एकदम एक Olympico में जाके एकदम high pressing game खेल के he was 1-0 down and he made a 2-1 comeback. So he deserves 50% credit in my opinion, but it's also because of the management he has with him. अगर वो management नहीं होती तो I don't think he would have been successful enough right now.
But he's the manager of Bologna right now.
Yeah, Bologna.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Honestly ये मेरे को मोटा के बारे में लास्ट 2 हफ्ते या 10 दिन में ही ज्यादा सुनाई दे रहा है. Honestly, the hype I'm talking about. Is there a reason, DJ, Yogesh, anyone who wants to highlight the fact कि last 2 हफ्ते में ही ज्यादा people who are not watching Serie week in week out उनको इसके hype के बारे में पता चल रहा है? ऐसा कुछ उखाड़ा है बोलोने ने लास्ट 1 महीने में, या फिर it is seriously something which everyone should be noticing?
Actually, they have been. Yeah, DJ continue.
No, go ahead.
No, I think on the contrary, last 1 month उनका form थोड़ा tipsy रहा है. To be very honest, they drew against Milan. That also like a terrible game. That was like terrible penalties. But I think what happens over here is the football they're playing. जैसे परमेश्वर said, थोड़ा fearless football खेल रहे हैं. And when you trust your youngsters, you go out like there is no fear of failure, right? As a winger who's skillful, एक ही डर रहता है मैं ज्यादा ड्रिबल करूंगा, I'll lose the ball, the managers are going to yell at me. वो एक freedom उसको मिला है. Zirkzee has got so much freedom. He roams around everywhere. So एक trust factor हो गया है. Ferguson has been, I think, a revelation this season for me. Amazing. And what has happened is, again, I feel, of course, the shows that he is supposed to be where he is right now. But again,
Yeah.
I don't like to go on this hype train. यार एक आधा season, like 1.5 season.
Uh,
This season he's been doing decent, but like last season people are going crazy about De Zerbi, and now all of a sudden people are saying, "अरे हाँ, he's not that great." ऐसा नहीं होता है. Everyone ups and downs आते हैं. Give him more time. I still feel, I hope he's at Bologna for another season before he
Yeah.
takes that big jump.
That's
Maybe
what
that was
Chintan
similar,
had-
but it's been
Xabi
very, you know, it's taken a little bit of time for him to emerge as like a candidate with the big clubs. It's not just the last 10
Yeah.
days or 1 month. In fact,
Yeah.
like Chin said, their form has dropped, if anything. But if you just look at the stats, like purely the stats, you know, Bologna is playing high possession football. What he's
Second
done very
most.
beautifully, they have, I think, third most or second, whatever. And
Second.
they've also attempted most passes in the game.
Yeah.
What he's done, I think, better than most coaches in Italy is how he uses his center backs. You know, how he brings them into that pressing game, and how quickly, when they lose possession, how quickly they turn that
और
situation around.
और
Uh,
जैसे धनंजय ने टैक्टिकल पे टच किया, उस मोटा इज नोन फॉर हिज फेमस 272, राइट? वो पढ़ा होगा आपने ट्विटर पे इधर उधर.
Genoa में.
What he does is वो उसको वर्टिकल फैशन में यूज करके he even uses goalkeeper in his play, like he even asks the goalkeeper to
Yeah.
come ahead. On a lot
Yeah.
of occasion he has done this in the game. तो उसके आइडियाज है, बट एज धनंजय सेड, ऐसा नहीं है कि मोटा एकदम से यंग कोच है कि एकदम से अच्छा करने लगा है. He has had bad spells also before, like Spezia में इधर उधर he didn't do that well. But एक चीज है कि मतलब उसने जो ट्रस्ट डाला है प्लेयर्स पे, that has been the key. मतलब सब प्लेयर्स वही बोल रहे हैं. लुइस फर्ग्यूसन को he signed from the Scottish Premier League for what, 3 million or something. उसको सीधा कैप्टन बना के he's become one of the better players in the Serie. That's a bold move, I mean.
Yeah.
Zirkzee same attitude issues here there, but Zirkzee को ट्रस्ट किया. Technically speaking, Arnautovic was their top scorer for 2 seasons with double figures. उसको he took the bold step to let him go. So उसने वो atmosphere right create किया. But I feel, as Chintan said, मैं यही बोलना चाहता हूँ कि hype, like I think Motta is good, but he should stay at Bologna. He will get offers from Juve, Napoli, even the Premier League, but Milan as well. But I feel उसको रहना चाहिए, because especially if they qualify for the Champions League, I mean, today is the 4th place battle between Bologna and Atalanta. They can clear Atalanta what 6 points or 7 points, something like that. वो जीतने के बाद I would rather stay with the same director and build a squad for that. I mean, I don't know if he will stay. उसके agent बार-बार बोलते रहता है हम लोग season end पे देखेंगे. So I think he's doing a very good job, but you have to give credit to the management and थोड़ा reserved रहना चाहिए in the hype, as Chintan said. थोड़ा, that's better.
Yeah, because that gives that coach staying power. You know, क्या होता है ज़्यादातर, otherwise it becomes like a pillow-like trajectory. You land straight at the
Yes.
top. Failure
Yes.
हो गया, no big
Yes.
club will ever talk to you again. You know,
Yeah,
उल्टा
exactly.
आप Conte की trajectory देखोगे, where he started at the bottom,
Yeah.
fought relegation battles, came up to the top, then found success with Juve. Look at his trajectory today. He's a world star coach, you know. I think, and Motta has that potential because he's been a very badass player. So a coach
Yeah, very smart
effectively
player.
like Conte,
Very
you know,
Yeah.
smart. He's a badass. That means he can control the dressing room. You know, Conte has that, and I think Motta can create that. In many ways, he's got that very. He's got a bit of Gasperini in him. You know, I kind of see like the way he goes about his football. It's so fearless, and at the same time, he's a Gasperini on steroids, which is great for a team that has aspirations in Europe. You know, but he, like Parmesh and Chintan both said, he has to stay at Bologna to really make it, you know, make the right leap at the right time.
Yeah.
Paul Pogba disliked that statement you just said over there, Gasperini on steroids. But isn't Motta the same individual who won the treble with Inter under Mourinho?
Yeah.
The same
Yeah.
player, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he won the World Cup with Lippi.
Oh, okay. मतलब DM था ना वो तो, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But he was a brilliant player, भाई. मतलब then I'm not surprised that this is turning out the way it is, because
Especially Manas bhai jo position khela wo, that position requires a lot of, you know, critical thinking and reading the space around you.
That
So
is why I guess that is why Xabi Alonso is doing so well. Another, I think, revelation.
Yeah.
And I unfortunately, I'm going to say this, but I hope Xabi also stays at Bayer Leverkusen one more season, so that yeah, unfortunate है अपने media का, you know, that the hype आ जाती है, इनको सीधा big club में डाल दो. I think they need that little room for error also, right? You need to make mistakes. यार ये सब managers है Brighton पे इतना limelight, and all of a sudden people are now dissing. I read some comments saying that he turned out to be a fraud. I was like, क्या यार ये मतलब एक सीजन में fraud भी हो गया deserve.
Yeah.
वो that is
No, he'll find his footing, guys. He'll find his footing when he's
Yeah,
back in
exactly.
Italy. He needs the right team. You know, his ideas are fresh. Same with Italiano now. If you give Italiano a little bit of time with the right space and the right team, he'll make the right jump. Also, I beg your pardon, guys. Mistake at my end. Motta did not win the World Cup with Italy in 06. I think he was. I mixed it up with
He was in
Materazzi,
Italy.
but
Yeah.
he was
Italian.
in the
Yeah,
2014 squad.
he didn't win it.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't win it. My bad. Sorry.
6 में तो Gattuso था ना DM if I'm not wrong.
Gattuso, yes.
हाँ.
Gattuso. 06 was
Gattuso, the
Yeah.
De Rossi थे, मतलब there are a lot of
06, that team was something. That was a very young De Rossi. Crazy Gattuso in that team. And funnily enough, I know it's a little bit of a tangent, but the 02 team was way better than the 06 team. It's just that the 06 team was a lot more as a unit. And I think Lippi was very good at that. Trapattoni just completely mishandled that 02 team.
But DJ, the O2 was against the OG Brazilian team also, na? Like,
No, Manas, that O2 team was just
O2 was Korea.
Every
Korea.
position. That was Korea, yeah. That,
the referee Howler.
and then you saw what
Howler.
Korea did to Spain.
वो तो आज VR होता वो गेम में तो फिर हम जानते हैं क्या होता भाई वो गेम में भाई. It was unbelievable the decisions that went
I
in
think
that
it's the
game.
most controversial international game I've seen in my life. I've never
Easily.
seen
That ref
Maldini
got
lose his
arrested,
cool.
no?
Yeah.
Mourinho, that ref got arrested later.
I don't. Maldini lost some seriously good matches. I've never seen him lose his cool like he lost in that game, dude. कैसा Maldini था? He quit. He directly said, "I'm never going to play for Italy again."
Wow.
Guys, you had to see that lineup. That lineup was something else. Like
Of
I
course,
don't think I've
remember
ever
watching
seen such a
that
stacked
game.
team. And Trapattoni just, the way he managed them was so poor, so poor.
मेरे को
Guys, almost 500 people watching. Please stream को like कर दीजिए. Please subscribe to our channel Menace and the Monk. These gents have been absolute legends. बहुत लोगों ने पूछा है कि इनका YouTube channel बताइए, but they don't have a YouTube channel. That is why we invite them over here. But we encourage them, one of them or all of them, to at least start something Serie oriented, Italian football
But
oriented. As you can see, there is genuine interest. लोग बात करना चाहते हैं, सुनना चाहते हैं आपको. तो अगर
और
अभी भी
उनके
टाइम
sorry मेरे को कुछ लैग आ रहा है ब्रो. मेरे को लैग आ रहा है. मेरे को तेरा आवाज बाद में आ रहा है.
ओके
मैं छोड़ के आता हूँ. रुक जा.
हाँ. Guys, एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था किसी ने about Haaland. Siddharth, Yogesh, do you want to just talk about him doing what he's doing at Manchester United? Because last year, of course, he was at Atalanta and he didn't score many goals, but a lot of money was paid for him. Yogesh, what do you make of Haaland's impact so far? अगर तू देख रहा है United के games.
नहीं यूनाइटेड गेम्स में नहीं देखा.
अच्छा, but तेरे को हॉलैंड कैसे लगता है? Do you think he has that potential to become a world class striker? जो भी तूने देखा है.
नो थॉट्स यार, लाइक मैंने देखा नहीं है ज्यादा.
अच्छा, okay. सिड तूने देखा है क्या हॉलैंड को ज्यादा?
I've seen a couple of his games. He's decent in terms of holding up play and running, making those runs, but his finishing still needs work, I feel. Like his finishing isn't at the level a top striker should have. Plus, again, he's surrounded by very young wingers, young midfielders. So that is going to show in how he's also reacting in a game.
अच्छा. एक क्वेश्चन मेरे को सिड से और पूछना है. एंड I'm just highlighting this comment. Devansh, this is not to pick on you, but this is just to highlight and ये generally this is not to pick on you, brother, but एक ना ये एक नैरेटिव होता है कि इटली में फुटबॉल स्लो खेलते हैं. इस पे देख यार, मैं तो जो बोलूंगा सो बोलूंगा. मतलब आई पर्सनली फील स्लो नहीं खेलते हैं. आप थोड़ा और देखिए इटली के फुटबॉल को. नेपोली को आप अगर लास्ट सीजन देखते, या बोलोनिया के भी थोड़ी देर पहले बात हो रही थी, आप उनको देखो, या इंटर जैसा फुटबॉल खेलती है. बट सिड, डू यू ऑल्सो, मतलब तेरे को भी ऐसे रियल लाइफ में लोग बोलते हैं अरे सीरिया तो बोरिंग है, एंड दिस इज, आई नो थोड़ा टेंजेंट पे जा रहा है, बट तेरा रिएक्शन क्या रहता है इस पे?
I think it's quite the opposite, where people talk a lot more about Premier League and the conversations about Serie are so limited around that the focus goes on कि अरे वो तो बहुत defensive game खेलते हैं. Because everyone is relating it back to the international tournaments where Italy plays defensive football.
हाँ.
But I think,
So
let me say one thing only over here. It's so funny, and जैसा Siddharth बोला, it's 100% true. But it's so funny. The last international tournament which Italy won, they were nothing but defensive. They were probably playing the most expressive football Italy has ever played. They they outplayed England in the entire game, which is the so-called best league in the world. They outplayed the English teams. The only crying topic was the Chiellini masterclass foul on Saka, which again there's nothing wrong. He got his merited yellow card for it. So this entire narrative is so tiring. And even if you go back to 20 years ago, where that Milan team जो खेल रही थी, there was nothing slow and boring about that Milan team.
yeah.
There was nothing slow about Zidane's Juventus team. So this narrative regarding clubs तो कभी fit ही नहीं हुआ है, because Roma, oh, what do you say about Roma? Roma are the probably only
Yeah.
consistent team जो कभी slow football नहीं खेली है. Never. I think everyone knows that. It's a universal fact. With Batistuta and also, this narrative is so cliched, but
I
I
think
get where it's coming from.
I think वो चिंतन भाई वो narrative also back in the mid 2000 जो club football था, because of that they've watching a few games वो perception shape हो चुका है. अगर आप Mourinho की इंटर देखोगे और even the last decade अगर आप Allegri को देखोगे and Conte को easy about defensive बोलना, but he's again anything but defensive. वो है नहीं वैसा exactly. People choose to ignore that. और एक और यानी कि ये चीज है ना कि स्लो फुटबॉल नहीं, अगर आप प्लेयर्स के इंटरव्यूज देखोगे दे से कि Serie is way more tactical than any other league in the top 5 leagues. ये सब players के testimonials. I'm not making this up. They even you ask any player like Pavard, you ask he compared it to the
Actually,
Bundesliga.
Parmeshwar, the funniest thing is, the funniest interview I've ever seen is DJ can of course talk about is Evra. When Evra was spoken about the training, he said it felt
I
like
was just going to mention that.
Yeah.
like walk in the park. He said what
Exactly.
I'm training at Juventus compared to that, what I did at United was walk in the park, and
Yep.
it was so funny. An international player saying that
No, so
Yeah,
where training was easier?
at
In
United.
England.
He said जो compared to Juventus में था, it felt like United में it was like a walk in the park for me. And जो starting का जो rigorous start हुआ था Juventus training, he thought the training was done, and then he was asked, "Boss, now second leg of training is starting," and he was completely shocked. He said,
Was
"What is
Conte the
happening?"
manager of Juve at that time?
Yeah, I think so, right?
I
Evra was
think it
Conte.
was a mix.
That's a
Conte,
Conte.
But-
it was a
That is a
mix of
Conte
Conte
thing, bro.
and Allegri, because he was also there
Yeah.
under Allegri as well.
Yeah.
So this
But-
is
but
very
Man-
well documented, actually, Manas. The Italian style is actually very different, and a lot of this thing,
Of course.
that kind of stems down on the clubs is from
Yeah.
the Catenaccio style of football that the Italian teams played in like the 80s, the national teams, the 70s, the 60s, and that said, it's a style of football. It's gotten them results, so why not, right?
Yeah.
There's
और एक और
been
चीज
always
भाई,
more focus. There's been more focus on the defensive aspect, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a boring way to play. Chintan and I mean, we kind of play. We use a lot of what we watch on TV, Serie, thinking we use it to very good effect in our amateur games also. So it's just a different style of play, and like both Chintan and Parmesh said, it's not slow at all. It's just a little bit
tactical.
more. It's very tactical. So it starts from the back and it stays around the midfield.
Guys,
So
it's also camera work and production. There's so much that goes
Exactly.
into making a
100%.
game look sexy. Okay,
100%.
तुम जितना
100%.
पैसा
Very valid
डालोगे,
point. Very valid
I
point.
mean, I'm telling you, bro. Like, if you ambience noise थोड़ा बढ़ाया, camera throw ins
Very
थोड़े
valid.
better
Yeah,
angles ले लिए, camera
Yeah.
के angles better कर दिए, the game looks very different.
No, it's
And
not.
plus you are
And
doing
also to
Bundesliga.
that point, because all the Italian clubs, save for Juve and I think now Atlanta and Udine, they are basically, everyone is leasing stadiums from their municipalities, local municipalities, and what's happening is those stadiums are not really built for TV. Like the audience is further away and not as close. Like Juve, when they built their stadium, they wanted an English style stadium because they understand what a made for TV product is, which is now what the Milan clubs will do as well. Very valid point. So it looks like the game, the way it's televised, it looks like, a little boring and staid and all, and you're further away.
Yeah.
And I think the Bundesliga have come up with a new camera angle. I was seeing their game on Sony
By
Live.
Their
Bundesliga
production is very good.
product.
Amazing,
The product
amazing.
is
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Very
If
The
true.
you
product
put
is
that
amazing.
product into Serie A, you see how
Yeah.
fast Serie A is going to sell. And that camera angle for the Bayer Leverkusen versus Munich game, and middle of the game, tactical analysis they were sharing, and I
Yeah.
was like, absolutely brilliant.
Even yeah, even in La Liga they do the same, man. Every other league has better production. So
Yeah.
But
It's a big difference, yeah.
Serie A has
Serie A
deep
never
Manas,
sells.
you would know, yeah, when Ronaldo played for Juve, Serie A actually had like a pre-game show,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
उससे पहले कभी कुछ हुआ ही नहीं है, you know, so that
हाँ.
also takes away a lot from the overall anticipation of the league. The
No,
timings make a difference.
when we had Serie A, we did pre-shows for 3 years. Then
yeah,
we didn't extend the contract, whatever,
Right.
or someone else took it. I don't know the details of it, but yeah, matlab,
Right.
you have to speak about it a lot for it to get
Exactly.
that
Now
rec-
tonight is a Manchester derby, and it's spoken everywhere. When there's a Milan derby, I think some of my friends message me, what time is it starting? I was like, bro, the game was last night. You know, so just an example, you know, something like that, where a Milan derby is just you just waltz through, you know,
I kid
derby
you
ho gaya.
not. I
Since a
kid you
lot of
not.
it is
Sorry,
also timing, yeah, it's not suitable, you
हाँ.
know. And
Yeah.
Italy
Also,
does not cater to the world, very unfortunately. They
yeah.
cater
They
only to the
don't care.
Italian mindset.
Yep.
They're very culturally, you know, elitist in that sense.
And
I
there are
mean,
so many
sorry for
cases where a big Serie A derby is clashing with a Premier League derby, clashing with a La Liga El Clasico on the same day.
yeah.
And like
Yeah.
that is so weird. Like if you want to promote your big matches, you do it on a separate day when it doesn't clash with the other leagues.
Yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely, and I'm not I don't mean to sound ignorant of your mean. जैसे आज योगेश ने बोला कि they are playing Juventus.
Hmm.
Yeah.
भाई मेरे को पता नहीं था. And I cover football, for example. You know, मैं
Yeah.
चैंपियंस लीग
Exactly.
प्रेजेंट करने वाला हूँ ये वीक. Obviously, I would have come to know. Obviously, I would have done my research later on. Blah blah blah. Like for example, I am honest enough to admit over here when AC Milan is playing in a Champions League game, I WhatsApp Chintan. I
Yeah.
say Chintan, tell me what's up. Okay, क्या है? So उसको मैं चीजें पूछता हूँ कि whatever, and then I try to use it in my research. Like word is not out only भाई कि आज नापोली वर्सेस यूवेंटस का मैच है.
And
मेरे को
actually
पता ही नहीं.
it's a historically pretty spicy game. Like it's intense, you know. Napoli versus Juventus, I think in the last 10-15 years is probably one of the most fiercest rivalries in football because of the precedent and how Juventus want to ignore Napoli, and Napoli are like, I'm fighting for Juventus, you know. So I didn't know. Yogesh smiled, so that worked. so, so I'm just saying, as you said, it's just, and Manchester derby एक एंटिसिपेशन ऑलरेडी हो गया है दैट इवन आई एम सेटिंग आई नो कि आज रात को तो मैनचेस्टर डर्बी देखना पड़ेगा, यू नो. सो इट्स अ बिग थिंग, यू नो. सो एंड व्हाट यू सेड इज एब्सोल्युटली ट्रू. द फाइनल प्रोडक्ट इज नॉट देयर.
Yogesh, a question for you, brother. I know you said कि mood कैसा है, but just asking for a prediction over here from.
आई थिंक काफी गोल्स दिखने मिलेंगे ये मैच में बिकॉज दोनों टीम से डिफेंसेस आर नॉट ग्रेट. काफी लीकी डिफेंसेस है. नापोली का स्पेशली डिफेंस इज नॉट द ग्रेटेस्ट एट्रीब्यूट राइट नाउ, बट Kvaratskhelia is coming back to his groove. Osimhen is firing on all cylinders, and Calzona के अंदर tactics दिख रही है मुझे. तो I think something like 2-1 or 3-2 Napoli will win that match.
Do you think Yogesh, the away goal not being there is helping the Champions League or European product? मेरे को मालूम है कभी-कभी क्या लगता है वो एक away goal, it was just such a thing ना. Oh, away goal मार दिया, you know. There are pros and cons to it as well. I just feel थोड़ा game अभी अलग हो गया. Do you think the same, Yogesh?
हाँ एक्चुअली नहीं तो पहले क्या होता था कि अवे लेग्स में पीपल वुड जस्ट प्ले ऑन काउंटर पे ही खेलने का माइंडसेट रहता था मोस्ट ऑफ द टीम्स का कि एक गोल स्कोर कर दिया फिर आराम से डिफेंड कर लो, होम पे आएंगे तब मैच निकाल लेंगे. तो अब वो माइंडसेट तो कम्प्लीटली चेंज करना पड़ा है लोगों को. लाइक गोल स्कोर करना है एंड अवे है तो फर्क पड़ना नहीं चाहिए प्लेयर्स को, लाइक एटमॉस्फेयर वगैरह से, बट वो पड़ता है.
Kim Min-jae, how big a miss for Napoli?
अरे वेरी बिग मिस यार. किम मिन जे रहता था तो क्या ही बात था.
Have you
Very
seen
high.
the memes of Kim Min-jae and
Upamecano.
Upamecano?
And they're damn funny. They are damn funny. Another red card. It's actually quite funny, but It's hilarious. How many defenders do Bayern want, man? I have no idea. And they're still conceding
They've
a lot of
signed
goals.
Eric Dyer now.
No wonder they are not winning the league.
Yeah. Does anyone of you all fancy Thomas Tuchel as the next manager of your club?
Nope.
No,
No.
no.
I think that window is
No.
closed for most clubs. Yeah, Manas. I feel like I think his star is on the
Yeah.
wane. हो गया
Yeah, I
उसका
think
time.
stint at PSG and now here is pretty much.
Yeah, maybe like a top 5 club in the Bundes, maybe, and then maybe try and go from there. But the rest of
Xavi?
Europe, I think
Xavi is available next year. Xavi
jury's still
Hernandez,
out
correct?
on him. Yeah, I mean, Barca mein nahi chala. Core of his football is going to be very hard to implement that culturally. At least in Italy, England mein shayad, something might click at maybe a Newcastle. He could be an interesting fit.
Yeah, I feel, but what do you guys? हम लोग को तो पूछ लिया. Like, of course,
हाँ मेरे को पता था. I sense the question now.
Klopp किधर जा रहा है? वो important है. I know he'll take a
एक साल.
sabbatical.
Yeah, he's taken
भाई
1 year off.
भाई he's taken a year off. ये हम लोग ने पहले भी बोला है podcast पे. We would love to see Klopp manage one of the teams in Italy.
I feel
Probably one of the.
Nidhi, उसका
I
आप logical progression देखो. Where else can he actually go, right? Spain, realistically, it's Barca or Madrid. I don't see him do like a Valencia
Atletico.
story or an Atletico story.
Klopp is a manager who likes a very
Challenge.
different challenge. So if he
Yeah.
goes to Spain, I think he would fancy Atletico. Fancy. If
But
he
the
See,
thing
goes,
he
set
likes
है.
that romance, He needs that romance to like tell
वही
his
वही
scripted
and I
story.
think वो romance इटली में मिलान के पास है मेरे हिसाब से.
Yeah, I feel like Milan and Klopp will be a good fit. Juve
And
Klopp also would be interesting, but I think he's come out and said that he's not as much a Juve fan. I think they're a fan of their football. So I think Milan Klopp is Pep and Juve interestingly and Klopp and Milan seem like
and you know
a
what?
very
The
interesting
funny
spot.
part is, कोई भी club आएगा, किसको भी romance से Italy is the best place because you will be fighting budget. You will be fighting with crazy owners, be it Roma, be it
Yeah.
Napoli, be it Inter, be it Juventus or Milan. So any manager coming here, it's a challenge. So I feel sometimes it works against Italian teams that which manager would want to stake their legacy and come here. Zidane should ideally. I
Yeah,
feel like he
Zidane
said,
is not coming to Juve. I mean, on so many levels,
हाँ.
he knows, right? He's a legacy manager. Yeah, he's a legacy coach. Same applies for Klopp. Like, I feel like if he does it, it won't be for the money, So
Oh never.
it'll come
क्या
down.
दिन आ गया ना घटिया निधि कि हमें बात करना पड़ रहा है क्लॉप किधर जाएगा अभी.
and
किधर
now
जाएगा?
Very sad.
निधि बोल रहा था योगेश का मुंह देखो. अभी ये टॉपिक पे निधि का मुंह देखने जैसा था. Not
हाँ यार,
looking at
हमारा
the
मुंह
screen.
नहीं Klopp तो मतलब
But
it is
guys,
going to be-
interesting. Yeah, I mean, it'll also be interesting for you guys to do this whenever what you all feel next for Liverpool also in terms of who is the right fit going forward.
I've read so many names. Xabi Alonso, of course, I'm pretty sure he was always going to be linked. But I read somewhere De Zerbi and there's a lot of names being thrown around. Yeah,
I
So
feel
do you guys
Zabi will
think
be
De Zerbi-
he'll be a very good fit.
रूबेन एमोरिम डेजर्बी बहुत सारे नाम. यार देख एक चीज मैं बोलूं लिवरपूल का ना एक है कि वी आर अ स्लाइटली डिफरेंट क्लब और उसमें सिर्फ लिवरपूल नहीं जो रोमांस की बात आप लोग कर रहे हो ना वी नीड अ गाय हु गेट्स द क्लब वो मैनेजर प्लेयर्स फैंस को अपने साइड में रखे. मतलब आई एम अ ह्यूज आई लाइक होजे मोरिनियो लॉट बट कॉन्टे फॉर एग्जांपल ये लोग बहुत ट्रांजैक्शनल मैनेजर्स हैं. हमको वैसा मैनेजर नहीं चाहिए. मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि वी नीड अ मैनेजर हु गेट्स द क्लब गेट्स द फैंस एंड द फैंस आर सॉर्ट ऑफ ऑन हिज साइड फ्रॉम डे वन. I think Xabi can bring that. Having said so, I
Very
do
true.
realize कि Xabi, I do realize कि Xabi का, we are judging him on the back of one great season, right? Let's not forget Graham Potter till a few days back was like the best thing since sliced bread. इसको इंग्लैंड का मैनेजर बना दो ये तो ये अभी ग्रैम पॉटर इज लाइक फरदीन खान कोई पूछ नहीं रहा उसके बारे में राइट सो
But
Analogy,
also
man,
Nidhi,
analogy.
I feel like Liverpool as a club and as the fans around, they're an entity to themselves. So I feel like from a coach perspective, it's actually better for the coach not to have that overwhelming personality. Klopp, I think in many
Yes.
ways was the anomaly. You need someone who will kind of just blend in invisibly into
Blend
the
in.
dressing room, rather than someone who is the face, because that's what Klopp has built. Nobody is the face of the club.
But क्या है ना कि like the most successful Liverpool managers have been that father figure for us. Bill
Yeah,
Shankly, Bob Paisley, Jurgen Klopp of
yeah,
late, Kenny Dalglish, player manager. So they
yeah,
have been that, like just not a manager, but so much more.
yeah.
All the names that are being linked are very young managers. Very young
But
managers.
also, Manas,
So
that's the difference now. The game has also changed. If you look
I know,
at
That is
but
very
the
true.
where
club,
the
but the
Shanklys
club
were
ke
and where
ethos,
we are today
club
in
ka
the Klopp
ethos are the
era.
same now, baby. Club ka ethos are still the same. Like if you look at us, like Klopp के tenure में 8 साल में एक league title है, but we walk around with our shoulders so high as if we won 5 or 6. In the sense,
No,
वो
but I
pride or
think
happiness is
you're
so much
absolutely
There's
right.
more.
also so much visibility in Europe with the what he's done in the Champions League. It's
Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah.
it's a lot of it is down to the fact that unfortunately, Klopp was saddled with the Pep Guardiola era at Manchester City.
Hmm.
There
Yeah.
is no comparison even in
But
Europe, let alone in England, and the way he fought. I think that's a story to itself. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's a topic which I don't know how to talk about. It's like your girlfriend moving abroad and the
I
relationship
think
ends. You you,
But
I
you
can
think
I
can't.
can I tell you guys? I
Liverpool.
feel unsolicited opinion. Sorry, Chins, but I really do genuinely think that it's come at just the right time, and I think it's come at just the right time more than Klopp. I feel like it's come at just the right time for Liverpool as a club.
It is
Sometimes it's
said,
predestined.
right? Leave on a high. Leave on a high. Don't
Yeah.
stay too long. As a
Hmm.
let's see. We are, of course, we are
No, वही
sad,
कह रहा
but
हूँ club के लिए
yeah.
I feel like it's just the right time. If the right calculations are made, I feel like he's left it on such a firm footing that you might find somebody who will even make you so higher. Uh,
Yeah,
and football's all about timing, yeah,
I think
especially
Liverpool
with
are one of
the
the only few clubs in England I know who have culture. There's something about them like how it like you would I would be very hard to see Jose Mourinho at Milan because culturally, even
yeah,
playing
it's not a
style
fit,
wise, they don't Mourinho and Milan don't fit in, right?
not a fit.
Something
Yeah,
like Liverpool. I think are the only few clubs I know outside Italy who are so cautious about hiring someone who fits their philosophy. So I guess it'll be a very important decision. I think club knows that because that is how the players and the fans accept the manager.
yeah, 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 yeah. बट पहले हम लोग लीग जीत जाए, उसके बाद अगर जीत जाए, उसके बाद जो होए होए यार, मतलब हमने तो लाइफ में एक ही लीग टाइटल देखा, अगर एक और जीत जाएंगे तो हमारे लिए बहुत सुखी होगा हिज डिपार्चर. लाइक there's so much to look forward to right now. We might end up playing Milan in the Europa League. We might end up playing Roma in Europa League as well, which will be so much fun, bhai. Like just to have that. I mean, Chintan, to play Roma, to play Milan has its history, and Siddharth more recently semi-final of the Champions League 2018, and I remember 2003 it was, or 4, Roma versus Liverpool. Gerard Houllier tha hamara manager, and
Four,
it was the
2004.
Champions League. For Gerard
Yes.
Houllier had a heart attack and he came back from the hospital after a month or two off. That history is also there. There's so much respect between Roma and Liverpool. Totti says so many great things. Gerrard says so many great things. So like वो question मैं अभी अपने दिमाग से बाहर ही रख रहा हूँ, because I'm just focusing on what 3 months I have to look forward to with Jurgen Klopp. But Sid, do you think Roma versus Liverpool is on in the Europa League? It
If it's
can
there, it's
happen.
a very good story right there. Like Alisson, Salah being there,
Ah,
playing for Liverpool, and it's gonna be a great European battle, I would say, because even the last encounter was thrilling. So
Oh yeah.
it would be amazing.
One question for both, like Manas and Nidhi and especially Parmeshwar. Now, Parmeshwar, ke liye this question does not really make sense. Do you, for Nidhi and Manas, do you guys concentrate on Europa or chuck everything and look at the league only?
oh,
Like,
league,
as in,
league, league,
भाई
league.
अभी तो तू
Sparta
पूछेगा तो
Prague, we will not travel with our team because, bhai,
अभी
everyone is out injured. I don't know whether you're
no, that's what
seeing.
yeah, of course, I've been following it. So, you would rather, if example, Salah is coming back, he might be fit for Thursday. You would rather skip him
रेस्ट
and rest him for Sunday.
रेस्ट हिम रेस्ट हिम
अरे भाई,
रेस्ट
उसको तो घर पे बैठा के रखो, लॉक कर दो बाहर से.
And I think does not work for Parmeshwar anymore because I think Inter are way ahead in the league and can rest players. But would you go for the league title or that final run at the Champions League.
हो गया यार, since the league is done. I mean,
League
like
is
if
not,
they win
unfortunately,
the
yeah,
it's an academic question.
I don't say it's done until it's done, but
of course
the
that's you
thing,
being modest.
Afina
but
wala
come on,
Afina.
यार इतना मत डर यार.
but
Almost
नहीं,
12
अभी
points,
अच्छी नहीं है.
brother.
First of all, I think the
Yeah.
first leg Atletico भी done हो जाना चाहिए था. 6-7
that's
तो
Marco Arnautovic, that's him. But I feel definitely थोड़े rotations तो अभी already इंजागी ने चालू कर दिए. Given we had these injuries over the last 2 games, 4-5 सब की प्लेयर्स तो मेनली इंजर्ड ही थे. लकीली अब सब की प्लेयर्स रिकवर होके आ रहे हैं एटलेटिको गेम के लिए. बट आई थिंक मुझे दोनों कंपटीशन में अच्छा करना है, बिकॉज Lautaro Martinez had said this.
क्या बात है.
उसने थोड़े महीने पहले बोला था, before we got knocked out of the Copa Italia, he said he wants to win all 4 trophies, and it sounds easy, but I think this is the best time to believe in this side, because I've never had, barring the treble side obviously, I've never had so much conviction in a team I support. So I feel दोनों कंपटीशन, as you said, उतना गैप तो है रोटेट करने के लिए, और जो भी बेंच प्लेयर्स है वो अच्छे से परफॉर्म कर रहा है. I mean, despite all the key injuries. I mean, Hakan Çalhanoğlu didn't play the last 2 games. Still, we won in great fashion, thrashed Atalanta. And to answer Arun's question, see, we are still unbeaten away from home in any competition. So why not? I mean,
Wow.
निधि भाई को मैंने उस दिन यही बोला था कि बार-बार I saw this thing going around with Atleti fans कि we'll win easily at home 2-0, 3-0. Our atmosphere is enough. And I know Atleti are a great side and everything, but I don't think 2-0, 3-0 होने वाला. I think maybe this will end as a draw and we will still progress, because they have a lot of flaws, especially at the back, if they can't stay compact. So, and again, we are still unbeaten away from home. We don't do well against Spanish sides, but again, this Inter side has broken a lot of records. So I have every reason to believe. So yeah, I think a deep run in the UCL possible तो है. I think मेरे लिए अगर if we beat Atletico and qualify for the quarter final, that's when I feel we are real Champions League contenders. मैंने निधि भाई को यही बोला था कि Atletico जैसे जाएगा उस पे I will believe we can actually win it or not. We qualify, whatever draw we get, I think we can go on to win the whole thing. Again, might sound arrogant, but this is the best time to believe in this Inter side over anything
It
else.
is not arrogant, bhai. If you are not confident as a supporter when your team is playing well, तो कब होगा?
Exactly.
मतलब-
वही.
यही
वही,
चीज जब
that's
योगेश
the
बोला हम लोग उसकी मस्ती कर रहे हैं.
But ये actually I have no comeback for that, Chintan. I have no comeback
Yeah,
for that.
ये बात तो सच है. ये बात तो सच है.
Yogesh, I'm telling you seriously, like everyone, I think outside Italy, it's very easy to love a team like Napoli. To be very honest, if
Yeah.
I'm an English fan or a Spanish fan, I think the team you'll fall in love with is Napoli, because the way they play, they attract such difficult, like the players you don't even heard of, and they're like shining. Like Lobotka, किसने सुना भी नहीं था, and I think he's one of the best midfielders in the league. So
हाँ, मतलब it's like पुराने हिंदी फिल्म में दिखाते थे ना, हीरोइन है, बहुत अच्छी है, सब कुछ अच्छा है, बाप पागल है, वही वाला सीन है ना.
yeah, oh, I can't get better than that. But yeah,
But
you're
बाप तो
absolutely
बदल
right.
नहीं सकते ना योगेश. नापोली का बाप तो बदल नहीं सकते हम लोग.
नहीं बदल. अब जो है वो है.
अब रिश्ते में बाप कौन लाएगा किसी को पता नहीं भाई. अगला कौन दामाद आने वाला है किसी को पता नहीं.
But last question, boys, and then we will end it. And इसके बारे में एक बस short answers from everybody. Serie is on the up, right? मतलब are you guys generally optimistic about Serie? क्योंकि अभी हम लोग 5 यूरोपियन स्पॉट्स की बात करते हैं. अभी यूरोप अभी सुपर लीग इसमें कैसे इंक्लूड होता है वो तो खैर we have to wait for details. But do you guys in general, मतलब 5 साल पहले how you felt about Serie का जो situation versus अभी, do you guys feel positive? And then let's end it.
Yeah, I think totally, extremely, to be very honest, optimistic, you can say. I see Inter as one of the favorites to win the Champions League. So I think it is 5 years पहले तो यार मेरे को लगा qualify हो जाएंगे Champions League के लिए बहुत है. And even same with Inter Milan. I think Juventus are the only team जो consistently perform अच्छी कर रही थी in Europe. But I think that has changed. It's good for Juventus because other teams started challenging. Teams like Atalanta coming up, people noticing them and playing football and sticking to their culture regardless of the results. And I still remember Atalanta played at San Siro and the Champions League because they didn't have their own stadium, and they still stuck to their own philosophy regardless of playing PSG. And Neymar said that we were so surprised and taken aback by how pressing they were. So very positive. The young coaches who we're talking about are taking the team, taking that notch up, and I think that belief जो as fans missing था पहले, I think it's coming back. I feel Juventus are one of the very few teams I know you can't keep them out for a very long time. I think
Yeah,
league mein
of
they'll be
course.
coming back very soon. Juventus, and they have such an attractive project with them
Yeah.
that they will attract big names. They'll attract a good manager. Champions League mein, they've always been a difficult team to beat, and it will be the same. I think Milan culturally अच्छा करती है. This season, I think we messed up against Newcastle. I think we had I thought we'll finish top two in the Champions League group. We did not score in the first two games, which we dominated against Newcastle and against Dortmund, and we got kicked out. So I think trajectory अच्छी है, and you see Roma amazing in Conference Cup, and I think Fiorentina losing to West Ham, right? And I think that was a one-off thing. I think it was a bad. I think the case of they ran out of steam. I feel West Ham were pretty much on the ropes, so they were doing well. Last season against Sevilla, Roma, I think Roma did so well in the first half, ran out of gas in the second half, and एक है now. जब भी draws आती है, people observe. Okay, that's an Italian team. It's not going to be easy.
I don't want an Italian team to win the Champions League, bhai. I think English team के supporters and Spanish team के supporters
Okay, just
हमारे देश
one small thing I'll say that सब लोग बोल रहे हैं, of course EPL is probably one of the most attractive leagues in the world. I think it's wrong to compare which is the best league in the world. But if you consider last 20 years or since 2000s or since 2010 to 2014, जो हिसाब से पब्लिक बोल रही है कि EPL is the best league in the world, इतने winners churn out नहीं कर पाए हैं comparatively.
हाँ मतलब 2014 से लिवरपूल सिटी
Chelsea.
तीन डिफरेंट
Three.
विनर्स बट
And it-
मैं तो चाहता हूँ ब्रो कि अ टीम फ्रॉम इटली विंस, ताकि ये जैसे तू बोल रहा है ना, जो इंडिया में सपोर्टर्स है प्रीमियर लीग के और ला लीगा के, कि मतलब वो एक चिप ऑन द शोल्डर है जो मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता, कि मतलब ये क्या है, ला लीगा सेरिया बकवास है, फ्रेंच लीग बकवास है, बुंडेसलीगा बकवास है, मेरे को वो पर्सनली पसंद नहीं आता. आई वुड लव टू सी एन इटालियन टीम विन.
और मानस भाई जैसे आपने बोला लाइक इट इज ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है नई लीजन ऑफ फैंस को लाना इन द सेंस लाइक इन आवर फैन क्लब फॉर एग्जांपल इन इंटर क्लब इंडिया नाउ वी डेज फाइंड अ लॉट ऑफ यंगर इंटर फैंस कमिंग अप एंड अरे हाँ मैं तो इंटर फैन हूँ मुझे भी ग्रुप पे डालो ये वो सो ये जो हो रहा है लाइक दिस इज मेनली बीइंग ड्रैग्ड बाय द क्लब्स what the federation and all are doing is a different thing, but जो clubs कर रही है I think that is very commendable, especially रोमा का situation अगर आप देखो they keep still going the distance in the Europa League या Conference League जो भी है. चिंतन ने जैसे बोला Juventus are slowly coming back on the map, they are doing it the right way जुंतोली को hire करके. Napoli I mean owner के अलावा there's nothing much wrong, वो जब अपनी views I mean when he starts doing things properly they should also be back, and AC Milan I mean they are also run by I know their owners get a lot of criticism, but I think they are also in the right direction in general. And हमारे सीईओ ने भी ये थोड़े महीने पहले इंटरव्यू में बोला था कि वोट this time people view as all these Italian teams back as they used to in the older 2010s. Now players and agents are contacting clubs like Inter and AC Milan, please हमें sign करो. पहले 5 साल पहले ऐसे नहीं हो रहा था. 5 साल पहले everybody was going everywhere else. Our CEO Beppe Barotta said this. I got so many offers that I had to keep declining more than accepting all those offers, players like Taremi, Zielinski, they can go to Spain or they can go to England, they are free agents, but they choose to sign a pre-contract with Inter. I mean, so there's a difference now, but ये credit मैं दूंगा ये सब teams को more than the federation or the country itself. This is all the teams work. Make credit, I don't think anybody else deserves. UA deserve credit for their own work. What now that they're bouncing back, same for AC Milan, Inter, Roma, Napoli, sorry, but you get my point. So sorry Yogesh, but because of this season I can't really
मुझे ये बोलना था कि Napoli winning the title was like breaking the hold of UA, Inter and AC Milan, like since
fair enough,
years.
of course
That's
deserved champions.
वो तुम लोग डिजर्व कर रहे थे भाई, उसका कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है.
And fresh breath था to get a team play like this. दो title जीते was a fresh breath.
और निधि भाई और मानस भाई, like many people won't know this, Bologna have 7 Serie A titles and to see them back on the map fighting for that fourth place, that is a story in itself. Like we want, like I mean as a neutral I'm sure बहुत लोगों को चाहिए, I know maybe वो लोग competitive होंगे या नहीं next season वो अलग बात है, but just for a feel good story you want to see them in the Champions League. That's why you want the fifth spot. Atalanta sort of making a comeback, you want these teams there because competitiveness है internally. The teams are doing it, the teams are pushing their boundaries. So
it's like I think वो Bologna का थोड़ा आप Aston Villa in the Premier League के साथ compare कर सकते हो. Aston Villa भी fourth है. It's a feel good story. The former European champion. So उनका भी history है. DJ Yogesh, Sid, do you want to say anything before we sign up? जो निधि ने कहा कि Serie A
Guys,
क्या
it's
क्या
always Syria is always it's that element of romance in football. You'll always find that in Syria. There's so much time-honored tradition in all the clubs. Like Parmesh just said, even Bologna, not many people know. It's not documented. They're here now. I don't know how long they'll be around at that level, but Italy's always going to produce the best coaches in the world. What has been great is with all the influx of the money in the real Super League, which is the Premier League, what Italian teams have really done is they've started scouring a lot of youth. And it's a very high quality level of youth, and when you blend that youth into the right systems, it's only going to be great free flowing football. Now it's just a matter of, I think Italy in many ways is right up there. They are just one club being signed by either an Emirati or a Qatari consortium coming in, bringing that money, because let's not forget, Italian cities are the best places in the world to live in.
Exactly.
So if you get the influx of one Arab consortium coming in and saying, we're buying this team, it's just going to change the face of football entirely. So you're that one purchase away. It's very important to forget till that point, till that time, you see a club like, I will speak specifically for Juve at this point, is look at the young talent that they've really set themselves up with for the next 10 years. If they hold on to Chiesa and he remains injury free, you've got Chiesa, you've got Yildiz, you've got Sule. I mean, that trident alone is going to be continental level in the next couple of years. You have Vlahovic leading that front. You have a guy like Gatti. You've got Bremer. You've got Cambiaso growing at the pace that he's growing. In midfield, you've got Fagioli. You've got Miretti. All these guys are just youngsters. So if you blood them correctly, I mean, that's really where the entire league is moving. Which is really what the future of football is. In many ways, you'll see that at Liverpool today. It's no longer about the big stars. It's no longer about the guys who get paid the big bucks. It's all about playing as a unit, and I think that's where the game is today. And which is in many ways, when you look at it on average, in the Serie A, most number of clubs are the ones that are playing systemic football. Very system based. In the Premier League, you will still see a lot of like star power leading the way in certain areas in certain clubs. And I feel like there's only romance for Italy. I think things are always looking up. What's very important and very consciously, they need to now start making the game made for TV as well, which is where they're really missing the trick. Wo ho gaya, I think the Bundes really doesn't have that magic. Italy has it. England, of course, has all the money in the world. But I think Italy has the magic. And I think once it's a made-for-TV product, very hard to, stop it. And maybe they work on their timings a little bit. But everything very, very good. Is looking great.
भाई इनसे क्यों मुंबई के लोग हैं मतलब
भाई पब्लिक ये जो पब्लिक पैनल है वो पाव भाजी और पानी पूरी और इडली खाता है, मतलब ये इटालियन टीम को सपोर्ट करते हैं, मतलब इटालियंस है नहीं, बट योगेश तू डालता है क्या पाइनएप्पल अपने पिज्जा पे?
अभी तक तो ट्राई नहीं किया।
मत करना।
देख मैंने तो डेल पियरो को ही क्वेश्चन पूछा था चैंपियंस लीग के शो में, मेरा फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन उसको था कि डज पाइनएप्पल बिलोंग ऑन अ पिज्जा, और उसने बोला नहीं भाई, नो।
ही इज राइट,
या ही इज राइट।
चलो भाई लोग, एनीबडी एल्स इसके ऊपर कुछ बोलना? एक लास्ट सुपर चैट आया, वो भी मैं एड्रेस कर लेता हूँ। शिवम सेज क्या अरे बात नेटपर लीग के ऊपर यार हम लोग ने ना पिछले पॉडकास्ट में इसके ऊपर बहुत डिटेल में बात की है एंड वी कवर्ड इट ब्रीफली, तो सॉरी शिवम, आज हम लोग ये क्वेश्चन नहीं ले पाएंगे बिकॉज इट इज
तो जोधा अकबर वाली मूवी बन जाएगी ये स्ट्रीम भाई।
हाँ ठीक है, तो बहुत लंबा हो जाएगा, बट थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द कंट्रीब्यूशन। चलो भाई लोग, वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन, यस और नो, One last question, yes or no? An Italian team to win a European trophy, yes or no? Starting with DJ.
Kab? This season?
Is season. Is season.
Across three
Either
Um,
Champions
competitions, yes
League,
or no?
across
Yes or
competitions.
no.
No.
Chintan?
Hard question, but finalist, I'll say. No, I do not sure, but finalist, to definitely.
Param?
I'll say yes. I have to believe. I have to believe as a fan. I'll say yes.
Okay. Siddharth?
Yeah, like we have to do the right for last year's wrong. So yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Confident.
Yogesh?
Yes, like and for Napoli specifically, like Barca ko harana is like a one big trophy in itself.
Been there, done
I'm
that.
I'm gonna I'm gonna say yes. I think Inter भाई. Inter. मेरे को लग रहा है Inter है. This is
To
Italy.
win the Champions League?
Yeah.
Great for
All
Italy
right.
if that happens, but never say
Not for,
never.
of
Yeah,
course.
it's
Yeah.
It'll be great यार if Inter win.
All
चलो
right,
guys.
boys. So much for joining in. बहुत मजा आया. So this was the Syria panel and this was Menace and the Monk. अभी तक अगर आपने चैनल को लाइक नहीं, वीडियो को लाइक नहीं किया तो लाइक कर दो यार. चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो. हम लोग ने इनके सारे सोशल मीडिया हैंडल्स वी हैव पुट इट अप इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. सो नन ऑफ दीज जेंट्स किसी का यूट्यूब चैनल नहीं है अभी तक अनफॉर्चुनेटली. होपफुली जल्दी स्टार्ट करें, बट जब तक नहीं है तब तक तो आप इनके सोशल मीडिया हैंडल्स पे जरूर फॉलो करो यार इनको. चलो एंजॉय करिए अपना संडे. मैनचेस्टर डर्बी देखिए रात में, और भी मैचेस हैं तो देखिए. और
नहीं अबे यूवे नापोली भी बोल दे.
मैं वही
both though, yeah. But before we go, let's sign off. What do you guys think tonight's scoreline? You win in Naples.
I think we are winning. I think we are winning today.
5-1.
Not 5-1. 2-0 will also do.
I will say a draw.
2-2.
I think draw होगा 1-1.
I think 1-0 UA.
I think
Parmesh?
1-1 draw. 1-1 draw. 1-1. Maradona, man.
I think
Yes.
Maradona. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 1-1 or 1-1 UA or 1-1 tie.
यूवे विन.
All right.
यूवे विन
All right.
क्योंकि योगेश ने बोला था आर्सेनल का फैन को वो प्यार करते हैं और आर्सेनल की विन. तो यूवे टू विन.
हाँ, ज्यादा आर्सेनल कर रहा था ना तो. सिद्धार्थ तेरा क्या प्रेडिक्शन है?
1-0 to UA.
1-0 to UA. ऑलराइट, तो आज मैनचेस्टर डर्बी है, आज यूवेंटस वर्सेस नेपोली है, और भी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग मैचेस. सारे मैचेस देखो. सीरिया देखो यार, बात करो उसके बारे में.
फ्री है
hopefully one of
देखने के लिए.
Exactly.
Jio से.
Hopefully one of these
Jio
gents
Cinema.
will. जियो सिनेमा पे फ्री है. एग्जैक्टली और क्या चाहिए, मतलब फ्री एज इंडियंस हमको और क्या चाहिए. तो होपफुली वन ऑफ दीस जेंट्स विल स्टार्ट देयर यूट्यूब चैनल वेरी वेरी सून. तब तक के लिए ध्यान रखिए अपना. एंजॉय योर संडे एंड मजे करिए. चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलना, वीडियो को लाइक कर देना. टिल देन बाय बाय. अप द रेड्स.
Up the Reds, you guys. Bye.
बाय.
See you.